I texted Arian, Morgan Wallen's new album came out last Friday, and there's a song on there that's like kind of a rap song. And I texted him the link. I said, tell me what you think of this song. And he said, I thought it was a parody at first.
I got to listen to it.
From the creators of the legendary MD 2020, the original name in high-flavor, high-alcohol beverages with those unmistakable vibrant colors and iconic flask bottles, Mad Dog by MD 2020 brings the party with 15% ABV in a portable can that tastes incredible. There's 4 intense flavors. We have the Bling Bling Blue Raz right here. That's this one. Mad Margarita, Spiked Strawberry, and Whipped Orange Cream. And our Mad Dog, which one of those is your favorite?
So I like the spiked strawberry, but I'm bringing home for Memorial Day the spiked strawberry and the Bling Bling Blue Raz for little red, white, and blue action.
I haven't had the strawberry yet, but I love strawberry stuff, so I need to get that one. MD 2020 just got more convenient. Grab a Mad Dog by MD 2020 and experience why we've been fueling good times for generations. Obviously, Memorial Day coming up, going to be summer. It's going to be great. Look for Mad Dog by MD 2020 in your local stores and at drinkmd2020.com now. Must be 21 or older to purchase.
They're also brought to you by Game Time. The NHL playoffs are here, and the only place to buy hard-to-get playoff tickets is Game Time, the official ticketing partner of Barstool Sports. Big T, can you look up a game in Sunrise, Florida? Panthers Hurricanes. The series shifting down to Florida. I want to know if there's any Peas fans out there. Brooks Koepka. If you're looking to get into the Florida Panthers, Carolina Hurricanes game, use Game Time. They've got killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their low-price guarantee. Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying NHL playoff tickets because the prices on the app actually go down the closer it gets to puck drop. You can save up to 60% when buying last-minute tickets. If you're looking at those Peas tickets, what are we looking at, Big T?
$153.
Go out, support the Cats. What are you waiting for? Buy those Panthers tickets right now. Get out to some playoff hockey. Take the guesswork out of buying NHL playoff tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create that account, and use code MACRO. Get $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Create an account. Redeem code MACRO. Get $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. What time is it? Game Time. Welcome back to Macrodosing. It is Thursday. It's May 22nd. We're back in the studio. We're happy to be here. Today's episode is going to be about the life and also the death of Jimi Hendrix. Some would say the greatest guitar player to ever live. I think I might say that. I think I would say maybe not the best technically. There's some other guys that are a little bit faster, a little bit crazier, but they built off what Jimmy did. I would say the greatest guitar player to ever live. What do you think, Arian?
It's like a LeBron Jordan debate, like more technically sound versus who pushed the game further. That kind of. But yeah, absolutely unreal for somebody who didn't read music.
Yeah, pretty crazy. So we're gonna get into that. Excited to discuss that. But before we do, we got some stuff in the news that we want to get into. Jake Tapper's book, number 1. We talked about it. We talked about it a little bit. A tiny bit.
Pressing issues.
Real pressing issues. Jake Tapper is selling a book. He would like you guys to know about that. And I don't know how you're selling a book, but you're also hawking it on CNN all day. But it's like he's doing commercials for his own book on there.
What do you mean you don't know? That's what he should be doing.
Yeah, but are you allowed to do that on the news?
I think he's allowed to do whatever he wants.
His bosses aren't like, hey man, can you do the news on our show instead of making a book and then selling the book and making money and then also using our airwaves to advertise the book?
I mean, he's probably the most recognizable person at CNN, right?
Yeah, but it's like your job is to do the news on CNN, and then you've got a secret stash of news, the good news, that you're going to drop on your own that's behind a paywall. And, oh, yeah, you can also promote that.
Let me tell you about another book that has the good news.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
It's like a girl in a Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue, and she just blurs herself out, and she just holds up a sign promoting her OnlyFans. That's what this is.
Is Sports Illustrated still a thing?
Yeah, I think they still do the swimsuit issue.
It just came out.
Is it in hardcover? Or not hardcover, like a physical copy?
I think so.
Hardcover.
Sports Illustrated.
I think they do both because there is like an internet. There's like a specific digital one. Yeah.
Like Brianna Chicken Fry did the digital.
Okay. I get mine laminated, Arian.
I think if you are subscribing to Sports Illustrated at this day and age, you should probably be put on a list. That's weird as shit.
It's become more of now like a female empowerment thing.
Yeah.
Wait, the swimsuit or Sports Illustrated in general?
The swimsuit edition.
Swimsuit.
As a dude. That's like weird to me.
Go on.
You could, like, if you horny, like, you could just Google whatever you want to, you know what I'm saying, and get your rocks off. But like, that's like, it's giving me stalker vibes. Like, why are you so interested?
I don't know. There's nostalgia.
If you interested past nut, that's weird to me.
Okay. You should have to jack off before you buy the swimsuit issue.
And if you still want to do it, that is the litmus test to see if you're a creep or not.
So it is.
Wait, which would be worse?
Do you have a subscription? You kind of banging for it right
No,
now.
I don't understand your. So if you weren't horny and you bought it, that would be good or bad?
That's weird.
Okay.
Because then you just have like half naked women that you are interested in for no other reason.
Yeah, it does feel like
There's no way you're not horny and you buy that. There's no way.
Sports Illustrated is taking what they came up with the swimsuit issue strictly for horny dudes.
Yeah.
That's what the purpose when it was invented. It was like, yeah, we're a sports magazine, but once a year you can jack off to it. And and now, since that's no longer like an acceptable business model for a reputable company to have, now they're like, actually, it was just about making women feel like queens all year. The swimsuit model is actually meant for women. It always has been. It was you that was making it a problem the whole time.
And just so we're, spreading the love equally across the spectrum. Girls got that too. But it used to be what is that? The fireman calendar. Yeah, you remember that?
I mean, I've seen it in movies. Like it's a trope.
I'm not saying you had one, but it's like, women used to have their version of that.
Yeah. I don't know any women that have had the fireman calendar. I've just seen it in movies where it's like, oh yeah, she's horny. She's got the hot fireman on her wall.
You know what? You may be right. I don't even know if was that ever a thing. I don't even know if that was a real thing.
I think it exists mostly on like TV and like sitcoms.
It's like phone number 555.
Yeah, exactly.
Got you.
Yeah,
Okay. I was trying to do gender equality, man. See what happens.
I appreciate it. I appreciate the effort. I think with the swimsuit issue, it's pretty cut and dry. That now, I think most of the copies of the swimsuit issue are probably sold to the people who are in its families.
That makes sense, I guess.
Yeah.
I think it's weirder to just have a subscription to Sports Illustrated, period.
Good point.
Nah, because you'll have like, well, as an individual, I don't know if it's weirder, but that's definitely odd because you could just look at it whenever you want. But like for businesses and stuff in the waiting room lobby, shit like that makes sense.
Yeah, I don't even know. I used to like wait by the mailbox for when Sports Illustrated would come, and I don't know. I don't even know who works there anymore.
That tracks. That super tracks. I saw this picture of an old East Bay magazine. I think we talked about it before, but it was like this East Bay magazine. Oh God, that brought back so many memories, man.
Yeah. What was your favorite thing in East Bay?
The motivation, because I couldn't afford shit in that motherfucker. So just circling them bitches like, one day, man, I'm gonna get you penny number 2.
Look what I got on, Arian.
He got the pennies on.
The penny twos. Penny twos.
That's fucking crazy, dog.
I've told you this before, but my family wouldn't buy me pennies when I was growing up because they were too expensive. And so that was the first purchase I made when I got a decent contract here at Barstool. Was like, fuck it, I'm gonna get all the shoes that I wasn't allowed to have when I was a kid. So I got the Rain Mans, the Penny Twos, the Jamal Mashburns. I still haven't gotten the Iversons. My problem with the Iversons, what were those? Those were the questions,
Reeboks.
right?
The questions. They had some answers. The answers. I only like 2 of his shoes. I don't even know if he came out with it, but the questions and the answers were the ones.
The ones that had the double hexalite in them. I used to want those.
Well, both of those did.
I used to
the
want
first one.
Yeah, I wanted those so bad when I was a kid, and then I tried them on at a store, and I was like, "This is the heaviest shoe that I've ever put on in my entire life. How can you play basketball in this?"
That shit is like a Timberland, dog. That shit is crazy, bro.
Yeah.
Did y'all see what we talked about recently that might be making a comeback?
What's that?
The Spreewells.
Yeah, that's right. With the rims in them.
Yeah.
They're gonna make a comeback.
He tweeted day or two ago. Who remembers these? They might be making a comeback in 2026, and it was a picture of his shoe.
I've heard a little rumor about Spreewell, though. Before we get too far into this news, his account might have been hacked.
Really?
Yeah. I think people are looking at it, and this was like very easy bait for them to put out.
Okay, so
Macrodosing
his pinned tweet from May 5th is a selfie that says, "For all the doubters, it's really me."
Right, but that could be just any picture of Spree.
I guess.
So anything that Spreewell tweets out, treat it as suspect.
if you're following him.
If you follow him, yeah.
He tweeted a picture the other day with KD. That seems like it would have been difficult to get. There's another one with Lamar Odom.
Unless it's online, unless these pictures are readily available.
Well, where is he posting these then? Because then it would be obvious that where his real account is.
An old picture.
This is definitely him.
It could be an old picture though. Like there's
it's 1,000% him. He's at all the Knicks playoff games.
How do we know that that's a Knicks playoff game?
I like the.
I mean, you can just say, "How do we know anything?"
No, I mean if he held up a sign.
Well, that's a valid question though.
He held up a sign saying like, "Yeah, it's really me."
He has one with Kylie Jenner from the game that they were at last week, wearing what she was wearing. So like,
okay, I've heard rumors that
let's make this place electric tonight for Game 6 with the scoreboard that says Playoffs 2025. I mean, you can just say, "How do we know anything?"
I've heard that there's a chance that his account might be compromised. That's all I'm saying. If you get a DM from Spreewell, maybe think twice before responding to it.
It seems you'd have to be so committed to the bit to be posing as Latrell Sprewell and also getting these pictures that he's taking.
I heard a rumor that maybe somebody at Barstool had something happen to them with this account.
Okay, I don't know.
That's all I'm saying. I'm not just making it up.
I mean, I'm scrolling his timeline. This looks weird.
Doesn't
just
it?
like a bunch of just like a bunch of pictures of him. Twitter is not the place for like pictures like this. It could be some old head shit though.
Yeah, I mean, what else are you counting on Latrell Sprewell tweeting?
I'm gonna be honest. I have never checked in on a Latrell Sprewell timeline.
Yeah,
no shade. I love it, brother.
I don't think like there are probably more pressing stories in the world than whether or not he's been hacked. I'm just trying to help out anybody that might be getting a DM from him or.
Does he live in Milwaukee? His pin thing says he lives in Milwaukee right now.
I don't know, but it is possible if you want to hack somebody on Twitter and make it seem like you're not hacked, just go to that person's Instagram and every picture they put up, just post that picture onto Twitter. Right?
It sounds like you hacked him and you're telling us it's you.
It was me. Step 1, hack Latrell Sprewell. Step 2, ? Step 3, profit.
So can you tell me where the person who's allegedly hacked him is getting these photos?
I just said a possibility would be from Instagram. Like stories or the main feed, you just screen grab it and then you post it on Twitter.
Okay.
So I looked at his Instagram does have all those pictures on his Twitter.
There we go.
Okay.
Got to be more woke, Big T. Speaking of basketball, Arian, I want to get your take about something. I think I know which way you're going to go with it. But game 1 of the Thunder and the Wolves was last night. And I have become – I said I'm radicalized now. I'm fully radicalized against SGA. Can't stand it.
Phenomenal talent.
Yes.
It's just, bro – like if I'm his dad and he's winning games, I'm like, sound like I'm happy you winning, but like you gotta stop playing like a bitch, dog. Like this shit is like fuck out of here with that shit, dog. I'm telling. Remember my whole game plan to make more people watch the NBA.
Yeah,
is to penalize that shit. I don't know a fan that enjoys flopping. I don't know one except for that. It's if your team gets the foul.
Yep.
Like a neutral, there's nobody that enjoys this part of the game. Like it's disgusting.
And don't get me wrong, he's really, really good at flopping.
Super good.
He's incredible. And
say basketball.
No, he's great at flopping and like finishing the shots through the fake fouls that he's making the refs call on him. He's incredible at that. Falling to the ground, putting great shots up. He's an amazing talent. And to your point, Arian, they do penalize it if they catch it in real time. a ref's allowed to give I think it's a tech for flopping or embellishment. But the problem with that is refs won't call that in real time because what if they're wrong, right? Like, it's hard to say in real time if it's close. Oh, I think that's a flop. I'm going to definitely declare that you made that foul up. But what they can't do is penalize it on review. And they should be allowed to do that. Like, when the Timberwolves reviewed it last night and it's like, oh, yeah, SGA just kind of like dribbled past his cousin and then weaved between two guys and fell down, not a foul. They should be allowed to issue a tech for that. They should be able to go back and say, okay, he did this. We can see it very clearly. That's a technical foul. But they can't do that right now, and that sucks. Because also, and this is credit to SGA, some of the coolest shit that he does is once he gets into the lane and starts dribbling around, kind of like Steve Nash, he does those like little probing dribbles, and then he looks for a guy that's wide open for a dunk or for a layup, and he hits him with a great pass. That's very fun to watch. And when SGA goes into the lane and he starts dribbling and then pretends to get fouled, then we don't get to watch him do what he might be even better at than flopping. It's close, but yeah, I think it sucks.
It should be a booth call. At any this would started in the preseason for at the beginning of the year, and then have it going through the regular season. By the time the playoffs hit, that shit will be done with, dog. So like anytime there's a ref in the booth, strictly watching for flops, and if there's a flop, they stop and get tech.
So yeah,
that shit stop that shit immediately.
So the refs call a foul, and before the ball is put back into play on an inbound or on a free throw, they get to look at it from above during that time, and then they buzz down to the refs and be like, "Hey, don't let him shoot this free throw."
Yep. Oh, call reverse, tech on whoop. Yep. Because two techs and you gone, right?
Yeah.
That shit will stop so fast, dog. So fast.
I agree. Because I want to like SGA. I do. And I like the Thunder. I think that they're a great team. But I can't deal with that shit. I can't deal with that throughout the rest of the conference finals and into the final. Like, imagine that in the NBA finals. How mad would people get?
But that's why viewership was down originally. And even now, dog, like, I don't know. I feel like when I was younger, there were still old heads, like, extremely, like, into the game. Right? Now, like, even the older heads are like, dog, this shit is hard to watch, man. It's just hard to watch because it's like, bro, just play ball. Yeah. Even when you coach kids or you watch kids play, that's like the main point. You like quit crying for fouls. Like, you see kids running down the court doing it, bro. Get back on defense. Fuck out of here.
The one thing
we teach our kids, man. Come on, dog.
One thing I will say about SGA, he doesn't really whine that much. So if he doesn't get a call, he's not like Luka getting up in the ref's face as much. He flops. He flops, and then they don't call it, and he's like, "Damn, they got me."
I want the Luka fans like in my trajectory, man. Hey, Luka's great. Luka's the best that's ever lived.
Can I ask a question?
Uh-huh.
And this comes from someone who doesn't watch, so let me know. If there was a guard who was otherwise a superstar, who did not draw a single foul all season, would they be criticized for that?
If they didn't draw a single foul.
If they went the entire season, did not get fouled the whole time.
Yeah, for sure.
So so you have to find a medium ground of how often you're supposed to be fouled?
Well, yeah, I mean, if you drive to the hoop, you're going to get fouls.
Generally, in a basketball game, that if you watch, the announcer will be like, now would be a good time to try to get to the line. That's generally applauded as like something you should try to do. That's just because I hear this a lot.
That doesn't mean flop. Like, getting to the line means usually like when you're coaching ball or something like that. What that means is get to the lane, drive, and like you get taught this when you're young. Like, they're either gonna foul you or they're gonna let you shoot. Either one. It's very rare that a defensive player is not gonna make a play on a ball. So they either foul you or let you shoot. And so getting to the line means start being aggressive, getting to the hole. It creates so much more offense.
Well, like many of the clips I've seen where people are complaining about SGA, he like gets into the lane and he gets somebody on his hip, and then he'll stop and jump and they run into him and foul him. That's a good play.
I would argue that it's like a subset of flopping. So in my comprehensive program to get people to watch the NBA again, that would be one. The foul would be on him. I think that's
for getting a defender in a bad position.
If a defender's in the air and you jump into him, that should be a defenseless player. How the fuck can he stop that? Yeah, you got him in there. That's fine. But if you initiate contact in any other part of the game, if you initiate contact, that's a foul on you, except when the defender's in the air. How can a defender stop his momentum? You can't.
That's not even what I was talking about.
No, but he's doing it from the back, right? Pause.
Well, yeah, but if you get a guy on your hip behind you and you stop, jump, and then he runs into you, you got him in a position.
No, okay, that's a foul. Yeah, I thought you meant like when you get him in the air and you go into him.
Well, if you get him in the air and they're, in your space, then that's a foul too.
Yeah, I disagree with that.
Now, if you jump into them, that's different.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, but like, yeah, I mean, there's because if you go straight up and y'all bump in the air like that, that's basketball. Basketball is a physical sport.
You have the rights to the air you're standing in up to the ceiling.
And see, that's where I agree, and that's why they've taken away a lot of defense. Is they take away so much of the defense's leverage. Now it's just like you can't even breathe on them. Foul.
Yeah. And
it incentivizes that. So now I don't know. The whole mentality is, yo, let's get fouled, rather than yo, let's play ball. Like I was a super Kobe stan, and so like he would just do an amazing job of like pumping people and then like stepping to the side and shooting around them. Like there's a beauty in that I feel like is just lost. And now it's just, you're not even trying to score. You're just trying to put your shoulder in his chest.
I think you can also maybe call it the same way that you call a block or a charge on offense. Like if you get in front of him and then you step in and stop at the same time to initiate that contact, then that should be a foul on the offense. If you're way in front of the guy and you put the brakes on and he runs into you, then yeah, that's a foul on the defense.
Agreed. Yeah. I agree with that.
People are just going to start fouling him harder. Like if we're going to get called for it, we might as well get our money's worth.
I wouldn't mind that. Bring it back to the 80s, dog.
Yeah, it's so frustrating to watch him play. And the thing is, he's better than that. He shouldn't have to do that shit.
This is the most talented crop of basketball players we've ever seen. But to me, it just gets diminished because they just pandering for cause.
It's so funny how different sports are okay with it. Because like soccer, obviously, they're fine with it. Hockey, they're not. Football, they're not. When players try to flop in football, but it becomes a big thing. I know Mahomes had that game against the Texans where he was embellishing some stuff, and then people got like real pissed at him. We're like, "Son, this is a man's game. Can't be doing that in a man's game." And then he seemed to have dialed it back a little bit. But in basketball, it's like, yep, smart play.
The one thing we do need to get rid of is pass interference on a ball that's underthrown by 15 yards.
I would agree with that.
I agree with that as well.
And they should add and one if a receiver makes a catch while getting interfered with. Extra 5 yards.
Okay.
You like that? I think that'd be sick. Why not?
No, I just don't like it. I don't. And one.
Yeah, and one.
I mean, it's kind of like attempted murder. If you commit a penalty and the guy catches it, you committed the penalty. The yardage is for committing the penalty, not in case he doesn't catch it.
Fact.
Why do you get a lesser sentence if you try to kill someone and fail?
Fact. I don't know. These are you're making too much sense, Big T.
I usually do.
Too much sense. Also in the news today, we've got the postmortem on the Biden presidency is it's really kicking in high gear. Trump seemed like he's got a different tone regarding Biden, at least in what he posted today, which was basically like that was not my good dear friend Joe Biden. All those policies, that's not Joe. Joe's a good guy. He wouldn't have done any of that. So I absolved Joe, and now I'm looking at the people who were around him that were handling him. That's what the tone seemed to indicate to me. And so I don't know if that means that he's going to try to go after his chief of staff, et cetera, et cetera. Probably just go after Hunter again. Because
well, you saw who Tapper said was his chief of staff.
He said that Hunter was doing the decision-making for the family.
There's no way.
And that he was like a chief of staff.
No.
Yeah, I feel like we would have known about this.
Really?
I think so, yeah.
After all this, you're like, well, they would have told us.
I think so.
Come on, dude.
What is the news? What do they try to do?
There's no way it's possible he was doing that.
Yeah, he was
doing. Well, we don't know what he was doing.
Acting like a chief of staff. that would mean that everybody that wanted to speak to Joe Biden or do any business with the executive branch would have to go through Hunter first. Everybody.
And you find
and you don't think that anybody would have said like, "Hey, this is weird. I'm talking to Hunter."
Nobody
that would have been
said,
such a
nobody said, "Hey, this guy's brain is mashed potatoes."
Yeah, but I think that was because it was like a closed circle around Biden. I don't think that he was like interacting with members of the press that much. They should have done a better job.
I don't know, man. You're a pretty trusting guy, I guess.
I think that Hunter Biden is a great person for Jake Tapper to involve in this book sales thing because people are like, yeah, now I will read about this. Because people want to hear about the crack kid.
I don't think Hunter would care for that much responsibility.
Oh, disagree strongly. That's all he's ever wanted.
So what policy did Hunter Biden attempt to force through? Or did he?
I don't think he was crafting legislation, but I think. Listen, dude, y'all can speculate all you want. The guy who's literally written the book on this says Hunter Biden was pretty involved. So
he wrote a book on it, and it's not out yet, so we don't even know.
So
what
if I don't know what to tell you.
That's pretty clear. It's speculation until his book comes out.
I'm going to speculate on the book, though. I think that there will probably be some stories about Hunter being involved in certain conversations, and then Tapper's trying to drum up interest. So he's like, yeah, Hunter was actually like very, very involved.
I mean, he was comfortable enough in the White House to be leaving his cocaine all around. So he was there quite a bit, it seems.
Are we going to know who left that cocaine there?
I guess we'll never know.
I think it's probably, I can guess. But the book
if Hunter Biden was influential enough to pass like some kind of like drug reform, you know what I mean? One, I'd be with it, but it would make more sense because like, what else is he into? I don't know that much about Hunter Biden, but I'm just trying to put the pieces of the puzzle.
I think you're focusing on him being like trying to pass legislation rather than just being in the halls of power.
That's what power is in this country. It's passing legislation.
You think that was at the top of his mind?
What else can he do that can affect American lives other than pass legislation? Like what did he do? Who did he? Did he fire somebody?
If he was in the ear of the president of the United States and like deciding who meets with him, who doesn't, you don't think that's important?
The Trump family would never do that. Ivanka
they're up front about it. He just hires them.
Wouldn't be anywhere near the White House. Listen, it's a problem whoever does it. Like if this is true that Hunter was actually acting as chief of staff. Number one, I think that you would hear from the real chief of staff that Biden had because that guy would be pissed off. I think what was that? Who was the guy's name? What was the guy's name? Klein, KL something. That guy would be pissed off because to be chief of staff in the White House, you
Ron Klain.
Ron Klain, yeah. You'd work for a very, very long time, and finally you reach the peak of everything that you want, and it's like, oh, the president's crackhead son has actually usurped my job.
Nepotism.
Yeah, you would go straight to the press with that one, I think.
Not if you want to keep your job.
I think a guy in that type of position, for the most part, would not want to keep that job because then everything that Hunter does is a reflection on him because we've got a secret chief of staff. I think Hunter probably did some stuff. He was probably involved in the family and around the White House some. Probably got in his ear about like, hey, yeah, you should actually pardon me. I think that'd be a great idea if you just added my name to the pardon list.
So then we agree.
On what?
I mean, you just said he's in the White House, he's in the ear of the president, this, that, and there, but I don't think he was doing anything.
No, occasionally I think he, as a son, I think he was probably talking to his dad some. I don't think he was acting as chief of staff.
Okay.
Like running the White House.
You should go write a book about what you think then.
I will.
So Big T, you would be upset if there was unelected bureaucrats with the ear of the president of the United States. That would make you upset.
Yeah, more so when they're his crackhead son, but yeah.
So if they're not a crackhead, that's okay.
That's not okay. It's not good.
What about ketamine?
Fair question.
I don't know enough about ketamine.
What I'm saying is it's a problem no matter who does it.
We agree. Yeah, we absolutely agree.
Yeah. So I'm going to have to buy this fucking book.
You're not going to buy the book. Who are you kidding?
I'm going to buy the book.
You
I'm
might buy
getting
it
the
to
book.
spite me now, but you're not gonna read this book.
That's probably true, yes. I might listen to it as I fall asleep.
I will be listening to the book.
Big T, what's the story about Klarna?
They're the buy now pay later company
Yeah.
that recently went into business with DoorDash.
Yeah, so you can do like microfinancing, microloans. If
Yes.
you're ordering Chipotle, if you're ordering just things on DoorDash, Uber Eats,
Correct.
if you're buying like a $15 trinket off Amazon.
Yeah, you can
Stuff like
pay
that.
for that in 4 installments.
So what's going on here? They did these microloans, and then people just didn't pay back the microloans.
It seems that their losses are piling up. I think I saw their Q1 net losses in 2025. You want to take a guess?
Q1, I think I saw something about this. Was it 100 million?
$99 million.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's pretty bad.
yeah.
In 2024, it was $47 million.
So what happens if you don't pay back an $8 loan to get McDonald's?
I don't know.
I think people probably just thought like, yeah, okay, sure, you'll get your $8 back, buddy.
This is no disrespect to that investment group, but this is one of the worst ideas I've ever heard for a business. Like, absolutely horrible.
Burrito loans?
I mean, if you're getting a loan to eat, odds are you're having trouble paying that. And there's no disrespect to being poor in this country. I've been poor in this country. But like, your odds of paying that back with interest are pretty low. In what world is somebody going to make 4 installments of $8.99 to you on a consistent basis? This is a bad business model.
I also want to know what the interest rate on like an $8 meal would be.
I was under the impression that there is no interest rate.
Well, then how do they make
Man,
money?
Yeah, that wouldn't make
This
any
is
sense.
even a worse business
Wait,
idea if that's the case.
That's why I saw. That's what I thought, and I was like, that makes no sense. Wait,
I'm not a big fan of making people go into debt to buy lunch.
That's what I'm saying. That's horrible. It's a
Well,
horrible
clearly,
idea.
but I mean, if that's not going to be a thing as soon as these people go out of business.
Oh, okay.
So is that how it's going to work, or they're going to go out of business and then all their delinquent accounts are going to be purchased in bankruptcy court by another company who will then go into collections for the people that still owe those? I don't
know.
I don't think that the people that still owe like $12 because they got Chipotle, I don't think that they're going to be scot-free. I think they're still going to be holding the bag for that, just to a different company.
So also it says on here that the interest rates vary from 0% to 36% APR.
If you are getting
Ever.
Raising Cane's
Mm-hmm.
at 36% interest,
Mm-hmm.
you need to be put in jail.
What about inflation? Maybe if you're beating inflation.
I think the worst part of their earnings report, whatever, they said they now have 100 million people that use the platform.
Okay.
That means a third of Americans, more than a third of American adults, are using that.
Now, is it worldwide or
even
just the
worse.
US?
I'm sure they have some throughout the world, but
That's
You
still
have 100 million clientele, and you have 100 million in debt. That is insanity.
well, that was just their losses for this quarter. They've got more than that.
That shit is
So-
crazy.
They said they operated 26 countries. It's a Swedish company. They have over 37 million users in the United States. It's the largest market. Slight majority of Klarna users are women, 60%.
That makes sense.
Is there a DM feature on Klarna?
Girl math. Girl math.
Girl math, yeah.
So there's 250 million adults in America. You said 35.
37.
So that's what, 15% or so?
How many people did you say are in the U.S.?
Well, there's 258 million adults.
Okay. Yeah, 30. Yeah, it sounds about 15%, something like that.
14.3.
I would love to see this business plan, this PDF. This sounds horrible.
The average outstanding balance per Klarna customer is $87 compared to $6,500 for credit card users. 99% of Klarna users repay their balance, it says. That might be this
How does that track with their
this summary might be before their earnings call.
Okay.
Yeah, this
But
is as
also-
of April 2025.
But also that may be over the course of 3 years or something.
That's true. Yeah, we don't know.
How long have they been in operation?
This has been a thing for the last 3 or 4 years, at least that it's been popular.
Klarna was founded in 2005.
Over
Jesus.
90% of Klarna purchases are made using the interest-free Pay in 4 option. So that one is interest-free.
I think we may need to establish what is the minimum amount that you can pay for something in installments.
I don't know. Yeah, this sounds so bad to me, but man, there's got to be some pieces.
Like $500. Like if it's less than $500 and you can't buy it, then you just can't buy it.
I got my candy bar on layaway.
My mom bought the Iverson questions when I was growing up. She bought those on layaway.
Oh yeah.
I didn't even get them there for my brother. I was happy we got them. You know.
Did you get to wear them?
Fuck no. He was always like a couple sizes bigger than me. So and plus he wasn't gonna let me wear his.
What'd you
Iversons,
get?
Bro, you crazy? I got to watch him wear them with pride. I said, when you broke like that, you have to pick, bro. Hey, I'll get you next go round, next paycheck.
I like that. I like that sense of family. We got Iversons.
We got Iversons, dog.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're not looking good right now. 41% of users said they paid late within the last year, up from 34%. At least a quarter of their users took out loans to pay for groceries. That's a lot.
I get this advertisement every time I buy a plane ticket. They're like, do you want to pay for this in 4 installments? I'm like, no, I do not.
Yeah, I've never done that. I don't think I ever would. Just because it's I don't want to be like owing money to like a third party that's not.
Right.
Like, I understand credit cards. That to me makes a little bit of sense depending on what your rate is if it's a big purchase. But yeah, for this, it's like crack getting people addicted to being in debt.
Man, I hate it. Like I hate owing people money. That's that's about like a pet peeve of mine. I hate that shit. I don't ever want like when I die, I ain't gonna owe a soul. Nothing.
What happens upon death if you owe some that debt gets transferred down to your next of kin?
Yeah.
It depends on who you owe. Wait, can they?
Oh,
yeah. Like credit. What does a credit card company do hypothetically if somebody passes away?
It goes to somebody.
They've got $20,000. What if it goes next of kin? What if they don't have any money at all?
I don't know.
Then their credit's ruined? Is that how it works?
I don't know. No, I don't think so. No, your credit card debt does not automatically pass onto your children or other family members upon your death, unless they were jointly named on the credit card or co-signed a loan with you. However, your credit card is a part of your estate, which may be paid from the assets of your estate. That makes sense. But yeah, you can't just place your debt on somebody just because you died. Hell no.
But I've seen people be like, my mom died, and then like, yeah, now But what happens with like your house?
Then
I think if
they can take a percentage of your house.
Like, can't they take your assets?
Yes.
If they want.
Yeah. So like, if you pass on,
that's what I meant.
If she leaves you the house, I'm sure. I mean, I don't know, but I'm assuming if she leaves
like
you
if you're
a
her
house,
power of attorney.
Yeah, and they own part of her debt, then they can collect on that.
So it says it goes to your estate, and the executor of the estate is tasked with settling the debt. Well, what if you don't have an estate? What if you have nothing?
I think everybody has an estate, and then the estate could be worth like $0.
Right.
Yeah. Or
So
negative dollars. I don't know.
It says if the estate is unable to pay any debts, they generally go unpaid.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, it says the unpaid portion is typically written off by the credit card company, and heirs are generally not responsible for it.
Life hack. Just never repay your shit.
Die.
Run up a loan.
Yeah.
Did you ever see that there's a big old thread about people who owe on student loans, and they were talking about that. They were like, I'm not fucking paying. Fuck them. And there were just like hundreds and hundreds of people saying that shit.
Yeah, but then you can't buy a house.
Yeah, I mean, I feel you.
We doing social credit scores, Big T?
What do you mean? Are we doing?
Are we going to do those? What's the latest? I haven't heard about them in a while.
I don't know.
I just saw that episode of Black Mirror about it. Seems like a bad idea.
Is that in the new season?
No, I think that might have been season 1 or season 2. New season Black Mirror, I think it's got like a 65% hit rate.
I haven't seen any of them yet. Is that the one with Ron Howard's daughter, the one you're talking about?
I don't know who Ron Howard's daughter is.
She's a redhead.
Bryce Dallas Howard.
Okay, which one is she in?
I think it's the social credits. She's like trying to get to a wedding.
Yeah, she was trying to get to, I think, a wedding and an apartment, things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yes,
I like that.
That's Ron Howard's daughter.
New season, I'd say the good episodes are really, really good, and the bad episodes are terrible.
I keep saying I'm going to watch it.
I love the part 2 of Space Fleet. I love that one.
Yeah, part 2 of Space Fleet was really good.
That was fire. Yes, because Space Fleet was one of my favorite ones from Black Mirror. I was like, please don't fuck this up, and they did not. I liked it.
Yeah, Jesse Plemons plays a great bad guy in it.
Yeah, he's a great bad guy because he can play docile, he can play relaxed, and then all of a sudden he can turn up.
Do you think Jesse Plemons is like talking to his agent saying, "Can we please get one project where I'm the star, I'm the hero, and everybody loves me?" Because he's so good at playing a bad guy.
What else does he play bad guys in?
Breaking Bad, he was a bad guy. Civil War, he was a really bad, scary guy.
Is that the game night one that he's in? And he's like eerie, very eerie and creepy in it.
Yeah.
How can that be profitable for Frito-Lay?
Who was he in Civil War?
He played one of the militia guys. He wasn't like attached to either side. He was just bloodthirsty and killing people. He was the guy that said, "What kind of American are you?"
Oh, I was thinking.
You were thinking Marvel.
1,000%. I was like, what?
He's a, quote, good guy in Friday Night Lights, but then during the writer's strike, they made him kill somebody, and then his dad helps him burn the body.
Yep.
Even though it was... the guy he kills is beating a woman within an inch of her life. It was complete... He could have gone to the police station and said, "Hey, I killed this guy that was trying to kill this woman." Would have been completely fine, but then his dad helps him burn the car. It's all, one of the worst storylines in the history of television. We don't talk about season 2.
We don't. I will say this, though.
What? Go ahead.
Real life Jesse Plemons, good guy from my experience. I met him in Austin one time when I was selling used dogs, and he showed up outside the PetSmart, and he said, "Wow, these are some great dogs." I was like, Thank you. Yeah, we're accepting donations, we're adopting them." And he's like, "Okay." And he put $20 in the donation jar for the dogs.
Nice.
And
was this during Friday Night Lights?
It was. Then he walked inside, and then the person I was out there working with came up to me, and she goes, "You know who that was?" I was like, "No." She's like, "That's Jesse Plemons, Friday Night Lights." I was like, "I haven't seen it."
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen it either.
Good guy, though. Loves dogs. Arian probably hates him.
Have you seen the movie?
Yeah, I've seen the movie. Good movie. Why'd you put writer's strike in quotes?
I didn't think I did.
You said during the quote writer's strike.
Oh, I don't recall saying that.
Oh, okay.
But the season that sucked was during the writer's strike, which is why it was
sense.
not good.
Makes sense. What a time that was.
It was when did we feel the repercussions of that? Are we still feeling it?
No, I feel like we're back with some good stuff. Although, you know, I'm tired of all these remakes. Like, I get, in a sense, like, from like the Jordan Peterson standpoint of like there has to be like some social narratives that are always kind of interwoven throughout our culture. Like a Superman is always gonna come out, a Batman is always gonna come out. But like I just want new, fresh ideas, new things, and it's just like there's always a recycled version of something. I just think those movies are rare, but they usually always hit.
It's just
Could be just old though.
It's a lot riskier for studios to invest a lot of money in a project that is not part of like a series or a cinematic universe or a sequel, because those already have a built-in fan base. They know how to market it. They know the story works, the characters work, people like them. If you have a brand new story, then it's like, what, is this going to work or not? I don't know. Big risk.
How are theater sales now? I was wondering that the other day. I went to go see Thunderbolts.
Yeah.
And it's something that I still like. I'll always go to the movie theaters. No matter, I mean, everything's digitized. I have a 98-inch TV at my house, but I'll always go to the movie theater.
I would guess that they're down.
So Thunderbolts has grossed $328 million so far.
Yeah, I mean, it was not. Well, I didn't really like it like that.
I think that kids movies will always do well. Just because parents are
Yeah,
like, let's get out of the house, let's go. This is an activity that we can do. We're all going to
yeah.
the theater. But yeah, I anecdotally, I went to go see Warzone a couple weeks ago. Have you guys seen that?
Warzone.
Or Warfare, you mean?
Warfare, yeah. My bad. Warfare.
Nah.
Anecdotally, I was able to get center tickets like 2 hours before showtime.
Well, that's also been out for a while, I think.
No, it was like I think opening weekend for it. Maybe
okay.
the second weekend for it. But that's a good movie. Very intense.
I haven't been to a movie in a long time, but that's mostly because the theaters around here are not in great areas.
I also hate the ones that say that it's IMAX and it's not IMAX.
Well, there's only, Jeff D. Lowe will tell you there's only like 5 real IMAX.
Yeah, he'll go into Warpath about that.
Yeah.
That's one of his passion projects. But yeah,
Yeah, no, you're right. So I looked at the ticket sales. So in 1995, tickets sold was 1.2 billion. In 2024, guess how much?
See, I don't know. That's tough to say because inflation.
780. Wait, that those are tickets, not dollars.
Yeah, tickets sold.
Oh, tickets sold. Total tickets sold. I'm gonna guess 500 million.
762 million.
Good guess, Big T.
There we go, Big T.
Yeah.
Great guess, Big T.
Yeah, it looks like it's trending downwards. Like 95, 96, 1.3, 1.3, 1.4, 1.4, and then obviously big decline in 2020, 21, 22, 23. It looks like it's kind of going back, but it's not where it was.
That's when
it's so damn expensive now.
it is. Yeah, that's when they smashed the Marvel movie button.
Yeah.
We haven't sold tickets in a while. Let's get another Marvel out. Crank another one of those fuckers out.
My understanding, again, this from someone never seen a minute of one. Like 4 or 5 years ago when the Avengers Endgame or whatever, I thought Endgame implied that was it.
Mm-hmm. You would think so, yeah?
I believe they're slated for like 30 more.
Oh, yeah. They're never going to stop. Your grandkids are going to be going to see Marvel movies in theaters. Yeah, for sure.
That was just that. I guess storyline. Like if you like read the comic books, which I haven't read all of them, but you know I was a little bit of a Marvel fan. There's just so many different storylines, plots, different things that interact. There's so many so much going on in that universe that was just one storyline. So like that's what this Thunderbolts was about. It's like after the Avengers died, like who's gonna save the people? And that was very like there's really no superheroes. Like they were kind of weak in my opinion. But that's what it's about.
You guys watch The Last of Us?
Mm-hmm.
I got a question about that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a TV show that's based on a video game, right?
Mm-hmm.
And man, the video game fans really do not like where the series has gone.
Anything.
Yeah.
Name something
Yeah.
that video game fans like.
That's a great point. They don't even like their video games.
They're mad that
They hate
Ellie's
their
not
video-
hotter.
That's what I was
Bro,
going to ask you about.
Yeah, they're mad that Ellie's not like as hot as she is made up of pixels.
And isn't she? How old is she? 18.
Teenager. Yeah, I think in the first season she's like maybe 14, 15.
Yeah.
And then there's like an age or like a jump from this to the second season. So I think she's like mid 20s in the second season, like early 20s.
So were the game fans in the first season like, we're gonna have to wait to see if she gets hot? Maybe she'll get hot.
No, they thought
They
the
were just
whole
like,
time.
this is ruining my relationship with the
they
video
were
game.
like, she doesn't look enough like her, yada yada yada. I love Ellie. I didn't play the game. I love Bella Ramsey as Ellie, but I also don't have that part of my brain that tells me that she needs to be as hot as a video game character.
That's a good part of your brain to be missing.
Yeah, that one's turned off. But yeah, no, they don't like that. It's the whole with like a lot of the characters is that she's not exactly the same face. Well, it's like that person doesn't exist. That is a literal made up thing.
I saw a lot of people online being like, maybe not a lot, but I saw a couple when I was looking up Last of Us after I watched the most recent episode saying, never forget what they took from you. And it was like a picture of, it was a screen grab from the video game of the girl that they would like to be playing Ellie in the TV show. But what I don't get is how long is this fucking video game? If you're making up to 4 seasons of a TV show about the video game, and in the video game, is there just a lot of stuff where you're not actually playing? You're just watching the scenes?
Yeah, that's kind of how I think. From what I've gathered, after the first season came out, I got super, super addicted to the lore of it. And so I would look up, since the game had come out like 10 years prior, there was a ton of YouTube videos just about the lore of the video game, which, you know, in turn helped me with the show. And from the video game footage I saw, and again, I don't play video games, I don't know if this is like a normal thing, a lot of it is story building where you're not necessarily like playing the game, you're watching the plot line unfold, which in turn I think makes it able to adapt into a TV show.
Yeah.
Because you're able to take those same exact points that are going to happen to you no matter what and put that in a TV show.
Is it the same people that are upset about Lola Bunny?
I don't know that crowd.
Like
Where did
Lola Bunny's ass go? How come the green M&M, it doesn't wear high heels anymore?
I'm sure that that's part of the same. I'm sure that Venn diagram is not 2 separate circles.
Yeah.
I had one of those moments when I was watching this movie. There was a moment where Silver Surfer comes, and when I was growing up, Silver Surfer was one of my favorite characters. But they made her a woman, and my daughter's there. She's like a super Marvel fan, like knows all the lore. And I was like, "Is that Silver Surfer?" She's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Oh, is she a woman?" She's like, "Yeah." They went woke. But I don't give a shit. It gives a fuck.
Yeah. People are doing that right now too there's a new Hunger Games book that came out and they're turning it into a movie, and they keep doing cast releases, so they'll basically go one by one. Actually, Jesse Plemons is in the upcoming movie, and people have started
Bad guy, pin it, huh?
I don't know if he's a bad guy. I haven't read it yet, but he's in the new Hunger Games, but people are very invested in not even a person they've seen before, but someone they've made up in their head, comparing it to the old Hunger Games and then what they think in the book and how that accurately is portrayed by the casting director of someone they've never seen before.
And they're not happy about it.
No, actually, they're like 95% very, very happy about it.
Okay.
There's an instance where the woke mob won and they were correct. Or the right woke mob. So when Sonic the Hedgehog first came out and they saw the animation for Sonic, everybody was like, "Hey, yo." Everybody was like, "Dog, come on, fam." They delayed the release.
Yeah.
Reanimated and then released it.
Yeah.
They were correct though. That motherfucker looked weird, dog.
He did. He was so goofy.
So you said the right-wing woke mob. Have you been seeing the discourse about the woke right?
I have.
No, I haven't.
So I don't even know what it means.
Yeah.
I just know that some people are calling Matt Walsh woke right.
Yep.
I just keep seeing that terminology. I don't know what it means necessarily.
I don't know what it is, but by the logic, is that because like people on the right don't like cancel culture unless it's something that they don't like, and then they're all for canceling it, like banning of books. Let's say, right? So I would assume he's railing about something that he wants gone, if I'm reading his script correctly.
Yeah. That's that has a lot to do with it. I've read a little bit about the woke right, and after 5 minutes of trying to read about it, my brain just hurts. Because what is
he talking about?
Well, it's commentators online that are upset at other commentators for not commentating correctly on the things they care about when they used to commentate correctly on things that the left used to do. And then and then by the time you have to know like all the little players in this too. And I feel like I've got a better than average understanding about that universe and all the players in it. And the lore of 2025 online discourse. And for me, I try to keep up, and I just have to tap out after a little bit.
So what is his actual? How is he getting defined as woke?
So I don't see like the impetus of it, but it seems like the guy who keeps using this term is this guy James Lindsay, who I've seen on Twitter but don't know who he is.
That's Conceptual James.
Yeah, he's famous for calling everything Marxist, and he thinks everything on the left is Marxist. BLM is Marxist. Everything's Marxist.
Okay. He said, I wrote these explanations of woke originally in late 2019. When I say woke right, I mean it, and my definition for woke has been consistent for far longer than anyone was paying attention to them. And he says, in brief, woke means having awakened to a particular type of critical consciousness as these are understood within critical social justice. To first approximation, being woke means viewing society through various critical lenses as defined through critical theories bent in service of an ideology most people currently call, quote, social justice.
He was really deep on critical race theory. Now I remember him.
That is, being woke means having taken on the worldview of critical social justice, which sees the world only in terms of unjust power dynamics and the need to dismantle problematic systems. So I don't know how that applies to Matt Walsh or anyone else who is, quote, woke right, but I've just been seeing it a lot.
This guy, Thomas Chatterton Williams, who I've seen pop up occasionally online, it seems like an exhausting guy to have a conversation with. He said the woke right places identity grievance, ethnic consciousness, and tribal striving at the center of its behavior and thought. So it's saying that right-wing wokeness appropriates techniques of the left by language policing, historical revisionism, expansive claims of ethnic oppression, but deploys them in the service of the MAGA coalition.
Is this an Israel thing?
I think that has something to do with it, yeah. I think it coincides a little bit with the discussion of like Israel versus like Zionism versus Judaism, whether the U.S. should be adopting all the policies that Israel is asking them to, funding them. There's but it also has, but it leans heavily into like fervent,
Anti-Jew.
yes, anti-Semitism. Did I pronounce that right? Anti-Semitism, yes.
Yeah.
So that's what I've seen, and there's enough of that to go around these days.
So Matt Walsh is not critical enough about the right stance on Israel, and they're calling him woke. Am I reading that correctly?
Or maybe too critical? I'm not sure. Again, this argument is exclusively meant for people who spend 14 hours a day online.
That's hard to keep up, dog. I like it though. A little right-wing civil war. Let's get it, fellas.
Yeah, there's a little bit of that on the left too these days.
Oh, there's way more of that on the left.
I think historically there's been much more on the left than there has been on the right.
Oh yeah.
Which is why Democrats have had a harder time passing legislation that aligns with their stated policies and goals. As opposed to on the right, they get in power and they're like, okay, everybody better fucking get in line on this. And they do.
Which, you know who has a great critique of that is that online dude, Destiny. I'm sure you heard of Destiny.
Oh, yeah, the guy he talks faster than Ben Shapiro.
It's a close race.
I know. Destiny would wash him.
I don't know. That's a close race, dog. Words per minute. I would like to see that stat.
Wash. Destiny would crush him.
That's interesting. I think it's a good.
Yeah, he's like Busy Bone.
It'd be like Busy Bone versus Twister.
Yeah,
it'd be a good match. It'd be a good match, man.
You should do a versus.
He had a great critique. Obviously, he's probably a little bit more of a liberal than I am. But he had a great critique, which I agree with. Which is like the problem with the left is that like our infighting causes so much like chaos that we can't get anything passed. Whereas it's on the right, Trump say something, all the talking heads are in lock and step. But like on the left, it's like nobody will support the Democratic president like they would the Republican president on the right.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great critique, especially around election time, because we're so busy. Like I would like his like moral grandstanding. He argues, which I kind of agree, but I mean that's kind of politics is loosely tied to your moralities. I understand what he's saying though. It does make a lot of sense. It's like short-term game versus, putting every single policy that I want into one candidate. It's just never gonna happen. I do agree with him in that sense.
Yeah. Have you guys paid attention to any of the Hassan stuff where he's been getting to these online beefs?
I saw some of it. That shit was like a 5-hour stream with Ethan
Yeah.
Klein.
Ethan Klein, yeah.
I saw some of that.
I tuned into that for a little bit, and I had that's another thing that made my brain hurt. I had to tap out because at one point, because it was an online Twitch stream, and they were bringing up videos of the other guy talking, and at some point there were, I think, 4 Hassans on the screen, and there were 2 Ethans on the screen, and they were just playing the videos back, and then the live versions of Hassan and Ethan were arguing over like the old versions of Ethan and Hassan. And it was just too much for me. It was too much. I don't know that much of the backstory between them, why they fell off or why they fell apart.
It's basically,
it has to do with Israel.
yeah, it's basically, I mean, the interesting part to me was Ethan. It's not like, I guess Ethan is kind of a Zionist in the sense of he believes that Israel deserves a homeland there, but he is in agreement that with Hassan that there is a genocide going on. Like, and so they don't disagree there, which I would think that would be a case for a Zionist, but he doesn't. It's more on like things they've said to each other that they can't walk back, and that and then they kind of just levy personal accusations. Like, for instance, it was really petty for to harp on this, but like, I guess Hassan has a sword, and on the base of the sword, there's like a symbol that can kind of loosely look like a swastika. I wouldn't think it. I don't think it looks like one, but I could see how you could see that. And so while he's critiquing Ethan, he looks at it and goes, "Well, why would you have a swastika sword while you're critiquing a Jewish man?" So it's just a lot of that. They're going back for like personal, like, why would you do that? Like, it to me, it looks like they just used to be friends and they're not friends no more. So they just kind of hurt. That's what kind of looked like to me. But I've seen a lot of that.
Yeah,
online.
It's
used to be my dog.
It's a lot to keep up with. It's just drama. It's like a little reality show.
I don't follow. I just saw that stream. I was unaware about it. But everybody was talking about it. Like all the political heads on the left were talking about it. Like, so I was like, all right, what's going on? So you kind of get a little better backstory, and then I'm like, all right, man, y'all gotta settle this shit.
We'll get back to macrodosing in a second. It's brought to you by Row and Row Sparks. Row Sparks are 2-in-1 prescription treatment for stronger, harder erections. They hit the bloodstream faster because they dissolve under the tongue, and getting hard faster means having more sex. After they dissolve, they work in 15 minutes on average. Row Sparks can give guys thicker, longer erections than you usually have because they get fuller. Row Sparks give you the boost to last longer, so it's more fun for you both. Row stays in your system up to 36 hours, so you can go back to back to back, round after round. You can be ready the morning after. Be ready for play with Row Sparks. With Row Sparks, you can get the erection that you've wanted. Row connects guys with medical provider 100% online, so there's no awkward conversation with in-person providers. If approved, treatment ships directly to your door. If prescribed, new sexual health partners get $15 off Sparks on a recurring plan. Connect with a provider at row.co/macro to find out if prescription Row Sparks are right for you. That's ro.co/macro. Get $15 off your first order. Macrodosing is also brought to you by Sport Clips. It's not just where you get a haircut, it's your playbook for looking fresh. Walk in, catch the game, sit back, while the pros and men's hair handle the rest. And when you're done, you can walk out feeling like you're ready to take on anything. No hassle, no surprises, just a solid cut every time. It's simple, it's easy, it's made for guys who want to feel like they've got the home field advantage. If you want to track your real-time wait times, download the app, check in online. Sport Clips, the haircut experience dialed in for guys. It's a game changer. Now more macrodosing. Yeah. All right, we got anything else we want to get into today? Aaron, I feel like I had a question for you about something sports related.
Talk to me, dog.
The Tush Push.
Mm-hmm.
It has been granted a stay of execution. The governor got on the phone at the last second. The measure to ban the Tush Push was rejected by 2 votes. They called in the big guns today at the owners' meeting. Jeffrey Lurie gave a presentation for why it should not be banned, and then he tapped in Jason Kelsey, who stepped into the room and then gave his case for why the place should not be banned to the rest of the owners. Apparently, it swayed a couple votes because as of yesterday, it seemed like it was going to pass, that they were going to ban it. But Jason Kelsey went up there like Colin Powell at the UN, gave his presentation, and then everyone says, yeah, okay, coalition of the willing, let's Tush Push it, let's keep it going for another year. So we're keeping it as a play. And I think it's a soft move to try to ban the Tush Push. Now, I also would secretly be happy if they did because it's such a good play, and I don't want them to do it against me. But in terms of fairness, it's kind of bullshit that they were trying to ban this thing.
I mean, I didn't never really have a problem with it. It's using the available rules to your advantage.
Right.
I don't really see anything wrong with it.
And every team can do it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like you can't draw a parallel between this and foul baiting in the NBA, which you could make the argument using the rules to your advantage. It is a football play. It's a physical football play, and it's like if
you're getting after it. Yeah, you gotta
stop it, hit the weight room.
I mean, what is its conversion rate? Do you know? I don't even know.
It's pretty high. It's pretty high for the Eagles. The Bills were good at it last year, but then they sucked at it in the playoffs. Sorry, McKenzie. Other teams have tried to do it. They're not as good. The Eagles are just better at it. And it's just It's a football play. You hold the ball, you run forward with it like a quarterback sneak, and you just get your big dudes to get real ugly with it. And so if the defense can stop it, then they have the opportunity to stop it.
Yeah, no, I never saw. I thought it was like an interesting take on a quarterback sneak or like a innovative way to do it. So I never had an issue with it. It is kind of weak that they were trying to ban it. Who initiated the let's get this banned?
It was the Green Bay Packers.
Oh, come on, man. Not the communist organization.
Yeah, the Marxists. they did it. And the theory why they did it is because they don't have an actual president or they do have a president. They don't have a team owner. So you couldn't put it on one person. It was just the organization did it. And they were the ones that said, okay, we want to ban this. And then the other teams were like, good idea, Green Bay Packers. No one can blame you because you're made up of 50,000 people in Green Bay, Wisconsin.
You're an entity.
You're an entity, yeah.
Nah, I ain't had no problem with that. Let them rock, dog.
I agree in theory, but it would be nice if the Eagles just stopped doing it.
Don't get them to third and short.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. If you want to stop it, you can either stop the play or you can play better defense on first down, second down, third down. Mm-hmm. You got two options for it. Or you can try to time it and jump over like Frankie Louvu and then get threatened with a referee awarded touchdown afterwards. They should not do that.
Who's the best at that? There's two.
Oh, I think there's one.
Okay, let me see who you got. Number one.
Troy Polamalu.
Okay. I'm surprised you didn't say the other
Number
one.
two would be LeVar.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
LeVar Arrington. And he was nasty at it in college.
I would argue he's the OG of that, like the best one.
Yeah, I think he walked so that Troy could fly.
Literally.
Yeah. I used to love.
I had a. Did you ever have? You know, you didn't have this. There's a moment in the NFL where like, okay, I belong.
Mm-hmm.
2011, we're playing the Steelers, and Troy Polamalu comes off the edge, and he makes a great diving attempt at me. He goes at my feet, and I like sideways bend and get up out of that. Oh, I watched that back on film. Like, oh yeah, I'm out here. We do this.
Did you see him coming?
Yes. Oh, at the last second. But yeah, I evaded that. Oof. It was that was like that's when I thought, because it was like a 10-yard run at the end of the day, maybe 10, 15. But at the end of the film session, I was like, nah, dog, they're gonna have to see me.
That was great that you said my moment when I knew I could play in the NFL. You guys didn't have one of these.
He went to go ask, did you have? No, you didn't have it.
Yeah, what was your I belong in the NFL moment, PFT?
PFT, when was the moment you knew that you belonged as a podcaster?
Yeah.
That's an interesting, yeah.
I'd say probably when I was able to piss my pants in front of Mark Schlereth.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
So I see some articles about this online, Arian, about that play, but I think YouTube took down the video.
Hating. That's what they do.
That's bullshit.
I mean, I'm sure there's a broadcast of it that you can probably find it. I know we were facing, I don't know what direction that would be. We were going to the right if you're looking at it on TV. We were going to the right. But it was a nice little, wow.
Troy Polamalu retired today, so here's a video of Arian Foster juking him out of his cleats as a tribute.
Nice.
Troy Polamalu, the high-flying, hard-hitting, and apparently precognitive safety for the Pittsburgh Steelers, announced his retirement, blah, blah, blah. And one time in 2011, Arian Foster juked him into Beaumont. Watch. Just dirty. Arian faked one way, and Troy bit hard, getting nothing but a mouthful of turf for his troubles. Foster would finish with 30 carries, 155 yards, and a score en route to a 17-10 Texans victory. But I bet this particular run sticks out to him the most from that day. Embarrassing a player of Polamalu's character doesn't happen every day after all.
Arian, do you happen to know when in the game it was? Because I have the all 22 of the whole game.
Let's go.
I would have to say it was. I believe it was in the first half, dog. If it wasn't in the first half, it was in the.
Do you
fourth
know
quarter.
Where on the field it was? If I looked at like the play-by-play,
we were backed up. We were backed up, maybe inside our red zone, maybe just out of it.
Okay, so you don't think first drive?
I doubt it was the first drive.
Okay, because y'all scored on the first drive. Do you know
It could have been the first drive.
Do you know about how long the run was?
Around 15, I would say anywhere from 10 to 20 yards.
Okay, I'm gonna find it.
Maybe 25.
So inside your own 20, 10 to 15 yards first half.
Inside our own 20 or just outside of our own 20. Maybe first half. If not first half, definitely fourth quarter.
Oh, well, so it.
No,
So
I mean,
it's
because
not
like
the
I said,
second
we
quarter.
were facing the right, and you change sides. So
Okay,
I
you're
know it
saying
was-
you're going right
Oh.
on screen.
yeah, we're going right. So that would be
So that'd be second and fourth quarter.
it was either second or fourth quarter. 'Cause I'm
Okay.
pretty positive in the fourth quarter I scored like one of the game-winning touchdowns.
I may
Yeah.
have it. I may have it.
That was fast.
The second play of the second quarter, 2nd and 11 from the 5, you ran for 18 yards and were tackled by Ryan Clark. Let's see if that's
Yeah,
it.
that could be it actually. Yeah, Ryan Clark.
Like the Ryan Clark?
Yeah.
Yeah, the one that is
Yeah.
making headlines. Yeah.
Ryan Clark, he really went in on RG3, didn't he?
He did.
Bad teammate. Bad
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah, he went in. I don't know either one, so I can't really speak.
Yeah, it seemed it was like, whoa, that guy went nuclear.
It looked like he'd been waiting to say something, honestly.
Yes, for sure.
But it's like I said, like when I said the last podcast, but like when you look at RG3's timeline, it's what his goal on Twitter is engagement.
Yeah.
And so that probably bothered Ryan. I think Ryan got mad at me. I never engaged back because I mean, what are you gonna do? But when that script shit came out,
Mm-hmm.
he was like upset about that.
Was he?
Yeah, I heard somebody told me like, yo,
He did not take it as a joke. All right, let's see here. We've got the play.
Is it like at the line of scrimmage?
yes.
Okay, we found it. So that's him right there.
Oh yeah, that
Shout out
was
to you
nice.
saying we, and you the one that found it. That's
Well, we're both
Team-
We're
watching.
watching. That was it.
gotcha.
That was a nice little run. What was that? 20-yard gain?
This thing looks like it's filmed on a potato.
We had HD cameras back. I hate that about our era. It's like we had HD cameras. Like, why is every film so grainy? I don't understand.
I'll send it to you. It's at the 15-minute mark of this video.
There you go.
That's a nice little
Good
jump
job.
cut you had.
Yeah, it's nice, man.
Did you like lining up in shotgun or behind the quarterback better?
It depended on the play, I guess. I didn't like one thing I refused was pistol. I told every offensive coordinator, I was like, do not put me in no pistol. I hate that shit.
Why?
Because to read a defense and to know what the defense is doing, the safeties are the table of contents. They're going to tell you everything that your defense is doing. And when I'm sitting behind the quarterback, I can't see what everything that's going on. So like if you read front or back to front. So you read the safeties, you read the second level, and then you read the defensive front. So like sometimes if I'm in pistol, I can't see what technique the line is in. I can't see. There's just a lot of things. Vision was probably my best attribute as a running back. So when I'm behind in pistol, it's just like you have to do everything as it unfolds rather than okay, I can anticipate 1,000 times better when I have vision.
That That's interesting. I hadn't thought about that in terms of where you're lined up. Like, yeah, in the pistol, the quarterback is right in your face. You can't, if he's under center, you can at least see over him at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah,
or
he's
see
ducking
around
down
him.
because he gotta get the snap. And even shotgun's fine too because I'm right there. I'm a little closer. I can see everything way better. Because like when they're blitzing,
Yeah.
I mean, as a running back, your pass protection is you are responsible usually for what they call the umbrella, which is all the DBs, right? So usually how they do pass protections, this is a good little one-on-one, Maddie, take notes. Usually how they do pass protections is they'll have the quarterback identify a mic, right? And so that identifier is who the line is responsible for. The line is usually responsible for the front, the defensive front, and whoever the quarterback identifies.
Mhm.
And then based on the play, based on how many steps the quarterback takes, like there's a 3-step drop, 5-step drop, 7-step drop, right?
Mhm.
And that's all accumulative of what routes the receivers are running. And so when he identifies the mic, the line is usually responsible for them. And then from there, either a fullback, a H-back, or a running back is responsible for everybody else. But any depending on the play call. So when they identify the mic, I usually have either the mic or the Sam, or they usually have the Will, or whatever the case may be. And then usually the umbrella is responsible. You're responsible for the umbrella. And so how safeties usually tell, this is a good little tidbit too, how safeties usually give away that a corner is blitzing
Mhm.
is that they rock, right? And sometimes they do it at the snap, but you can tell by alignment what they're about to do. So they'll have one either shift over, they have to be in lockstep, right? They'll shift over because they have to have somebody responsible for that third. And so they'll shift over, meaning the corner is going to come, or a dime is going to come, or something like that. There's going to be pressure on this side, and you're responsible for that. And seeing all that, standing behind a quarterback is hard to anticipate. And they give running backs keys, but I used to like the whole picture. But yeah, standing behind a quarterback is just extremely hard to see. I hated standing behind. So I was like, nah, I don't like it.
I'm going to start looking for that. I'm going to start looking for safeties rocking.
Yeah, safeties tell you everything that's going on. And that's why it was so hard. And that's why Troy Polamalu was so great. Troy Polamalu was a wild card. We used to have our scout team defensive player when we played the Pittsburgh Steelers say, they used to tell him, do whatever the fuck you want to do. We don't care if you're in cover 2, cover 3. We don't care if you're in cover 0. You line up where you want to line up, do what you want to do, because that's exactly what he did. There are times he stepped up to the A gap and he has deep thirds or deep quarters. There's times he's lined up on the side, there's times he's in cover 2 and he blitzes. He had free reign to do whatever the fuck he wanted to do, which made him, especially with their defense, they already tried to confuse you with all kind of looks. But you put that with the variable of he did whatever he wanted to do regardless of the play call, like it was just impossible to track. So you had to kind of just you'd have to know. You have to be very disciplined and know what their tendencies were. He was a great player, man.
That's got to be the best week of practice ever. Just do whatever you want.
Oh, for that scout team guy? Oh, absolutely.
No chance of messing up a play. No, you just go do whatever the hell you want.
They didn't care. They was like, do whatever. You put that 4-3 on, they was like, do whatever you want to do. So the dude was bouncing around, doing whatever he want. And it was frustrating for us, but it's how he played. Showing up in the game, this man's lined up in the A gap. This man's over here. This nigga's deep. I was like, bro, come on.
Did you say that you played him your rookie year?
Yeah, I was the scout team guy for them my rookie year.
So you were Troy?
Yeah. And I was the safety. That was fun as shit. I was like, hey, yo.
Yeah, that's a great practice.
It was great. My rookie year, I did everything. I played tight end, scout team. I played receiver. I played quarterback. So I did everything, bro.
Did you get any picks in practice as Troy?
No.
What quarterback were you supposed to be?
Huh?
What quarterback were you supposed to be?
It was like halfback pass type shit.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, no. I think I played Wildcat. If I remember correctly, I think I did some Wildcat stuff. Yeah.
So
which was fun.
What year was this?
So that was probably Dolphins?
Yeah.
2009.
So you're probably like Ronnie Brown.
I don't remember who we played back then, but I remember running some Wildcat stuff.
Well, that's like when the Dolphins started it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if we played the Dolphins, though. It's been a minute, man. It's been a long little while.
Scout team Troy Polamalu. That's how people need to talk about that more often.
My scout team.
Did you get to wear number 43?
Yeah, they put so whoever you're gonna be. So like I was the other team's running back a lot too. Whoever you're gonna be, they put that number red jersey in your locker before. I don't know how they do now, but I did it. So like if I was, who else did I play? I think I played Chris Johnson. I was Chris Johnson as well. And so in my locker, they'll have a red 28 jersey before practice, and you just put that on, you warm up with it, and you're Chris Johnson for the day. And I always tried to emulate whoever I was. So I tried to just speed, not a lot of cuts.
Yeah.
I just try to get around to the edge. That's
It's a good teammate.
Yeah,
really, really getting into method acting. Did they let you wear like big hair? Did you have a wig on for Troy?
nah, no.
They should have done that. That would have been awesome.
Texans
That'd
beat
be
the
funny as shit.
Dolphins 27-20 in 2009. But you wouldn't have been on. You had 19 carries for 97 yards and a touchdown. You would have been on scout team.
For the Dolphins?
Yeah.
No. So I wasn't a perennial Pro Bowl player in my rookie year. So
Right, but did you start this game?
yes, but that's the thing though. I was like, yo, you're a good running back for us. If we have a good, solid running back for us that year, while the defense, because you don't go against the number one. Ones don't usually go against ones until like the end of the practice. So ones would go against their scout team, right? And so I would be called over to play Wildcat while the defense was going. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I would fill in. I used to be gassed at practice my rookie year because I still did scout team stuff. I was taking reps with the ones. I did special teams. I was always on every special team. Yeah, I was gassed at the end of the practice.
You had 19 carries for 97 yards. Can you name the other two running backs who had a carry for the Texans in that game?
Yep. Let's see. Ryan Moats
8 carries for 23 yards.
and I think Steve was hurt. And how Chris Henry?
Chris Brown
Chris Brown. That's right.
from
Chris
Naperville,
Brown.
Illinois.
I limited Ryan Moats to fewer yards than that when I played against him in rugby.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Fun
You
fact.
played rugby?
It was like his second game ever playing rugby. And so he didn't really know how to catch the ball.
Where did you play against it? College?
No. This was in, I want to say Frisco, Texas. Either Dallas or Frisco. It was his second game playing, so he was on their B team. I was on their B team because for the Huns, because that was my first year, I think, playing for Austin. And he was catching the ball. Like, he didn't know that you should get a little head of steam before you caught the ball. So he would catch it flat-footed after the defense was already on him. And I say me, but it was like me and two other guys that were tackling him. But when I saw that I was going up against Ryan Moats, I was like, fuck. This is not going to end well.
I'm looking at this, Big T. Sorry, family. I'm looking at this film that you sent. This is the actual game film.
Yeah.
So this isn't a broadcast. There were not HD cameras, I don't think then. I think they changed that 2012, I believe, was when our game film was HD cameras.
You can still tell it's a sick play, though.
Yeah, that's all that's on there. That's the full game. There's
Yeah,
highlights, but
I remember, you know, I don't tell me if I'm talking too much, but y'all, it reminded me that game, or what I remember about was afterwards. Dion was a commentator for NFL Network, and I was one of his primetime players. And like you read the stat line, and afterwards he was like, "Texas, y'all need to pay that man. Hey, it's time to pay that man." And I was like, "You damn right, you right, dog."
Love it. Before we get to Jimi Hendrix, he's brought to you by Pardon My Cheesesteak. We're in for a great sports week. We got the NHL playoffs, NBA playoffs, lots of baseball, and ordering Pardon My Cheesesteak for your game day meal or your late night eats is the best play call that you can make. Pardon My Cheesesteak offers a wide variety of cheesesteaks, loaded fries, and popular desserts, all delivered right to your door, so you don't have to miss any of the action on your couch. Pick your favorite cheesesteak made with thin sliced steak, melted provolone, mouth-watering cheese sauce, and caramelized onions, all on a toasted hoagie roll. You can get the popular Big Cat combo that comes with a choice of cheesesteak, fries, and a drink. Go to pardonmycheesesteak.com. We use promo code PMC, PMC20, PMC20. You get 20% off your order. Only at pardonmycheesesteak.com. order, make sure to use promo code PMC20 and you get 20% off your order. And now, the life and death of Jimi Hendrix. All right, you guys want to get into some Jimi Hendrix?
Oh my God, love this. Prompted me to go back because you shuffle. It does what it does, and you try to be as eclectic as possible. It gets lost in the mix sometimes. Because we was doing this, I was just doubling back on some Jimmy.
Mhm.
God damn, that man, he was cold, bro.
Yeah, he was.
Sounds like he sounds like an era. You know what I mean? He sounds like the 70s. You put 70s in a cup and drink it, it would taste like Jimi Hendrix, man.
I don't think that it's possible for us to say how influential Jimi Hendrix was, not just on guitar, but on music. When he came out, when he started doing his thing, nothing sounded like him.
Yeah.
You could claim that Jimi Hendrix invented hard rock. You can claim that Jimi Hendrix invented heavy metal. You can claim that Jimi Hendrix invented blues rock. And blending those two together, he invented like 9 different genres of music in his short life, which is just absolutely unreal. He's one of the first guitar players to really use effects, distortion,
the wah-wah shit,
the wah-wah pedal, the whammy bar, the just fuzz in general, the fuzz sound,
the distortion. Yep.
And I've heard some Hendrix performances where it's like that guy took too much LSD before he started playing, where you can't really
easily
tell what he's doing. But I think that those were the exception. And for the most part, Hendrix was just killing it night after night, putting his entire body into the performance, lighting his guitar on fire, smashing his instruments. He was definitely the first person to do that, right? I think that there's like some dispute, like how people get into the dispute on who invented the wave in baseball.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, Hendrix, he changed music, and there's just like a handful of guys that and women that you can say that about. But yeah, he had
and probably had the most iconic moment in the most iconic festival of all time.
Yeah,
Star
Spangled Banner at Woodstock. Yeah, great performance of that. What are your favorite Jimi Hendrix songs?
Along the Watchtower.
That song, that cover was so good that Bob Dylan said that's Jimmy's song now.
Yeah. As cliche it is, I think maybe Purple Haze.
It's a good song.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just so, it gives you the fifis when he starts hitting them licks. So it's really, there's not many Jimi Hendrix songs I don't like, but like those two probably stick out to me the most.
Yeah, it's impossible to rank them, I think. I tried ranking them earlier, and I just looked at my list, and I thought to myself, well, no, I can make a case for any of these to be ranked number one on the list. So I would say my favorites are Voodoo Child.
Oh, Voodoo Child. God, see, that's the problem when you rank them.
Maybe the best intro.
Doom, 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 that one?
No, that's I don't know. That sounds exactly like it the way I just did it right there with my mouth. Yeah. Voodoo Child, I would say maybe these are all number ones, co-number ones. Voodoo Child, Wind Cries Mary, All Along the Watchtower.
That motherfucker.
Purple Haze, Hey Joe. I also like Manic Depression a lot.
What's that? Where's that one from?
That's the one that goes like da 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 da. Manic Depression, searching my soul. I remember when I read the album notes for that when I was like 10 years old, and I had a Jimi Hendrix tape, and he was talking about how he came up with the song. He was like, "Yeah, I wrote this about a cat that was just not really like up, down, all around. You can pin him down." And I thought he was actually talking about a cat. I didn't realize that he was like, yeah, he was using cat like dude. I was like, man, that song's about a cat. That's crazy.
Yeah, no, I haven't heard this one.
Oh, it's a great song.
Yeah, I did the Beatles. That boom, boom, boom. Why is that in my head?
Yeah, that's one of the songs that Big T hates.
Which one?
That was Come Together. Big T, you a Hendrix fan at all?
No, I don't know that I could identify any song that's by Jimi Hendrix.
I think if you heard the guitar, you could
Yeah, you
probably.
could.
I'm sure I've probably heard a few,
You
but
could- Still to this day, nobody plays like Jimmy played. Like you can tell, you could put him probably on just a clean electric guitar with no distortion, and have him jam out, and I'd be like, yeah, that's Jimmy.
Have you seen that video? Because it's so rare to see, but like he played acoustic. I think it was on a 12 string too.
I don't know if I saw that. No,
Fuck, that shit is hard, dog. You might have to take a minute or two just to watch that real quick, dog.
I will. I will do that. He was born
Like right now, this shit is that good.
He was born in Seattle. I will watch it. I promise you, I will watch it.
You're not gonna watch it. You know, you don't love me like
What?
that.
I don't want to
he's
stop.
not gonna do shit.
I don't want to stop the pod. Don't stop the pod. Can't stop the pod. Pod on.
What the fuck? What the fuck is that?
I'm just saying, pod on.
What the fuck is that? Don't stop the pod. Can't stop the pod.
I got pod homework.
What does that mean?
Just like when we do this show, I learned something. I hope people out there learn something that they didn't know every time they listen to this. I also learn stuff, and then I make little notes of what I'm going to look into afterwards. We got some breaking news real quick to cut into Jimi Hendrix. Hard Knocks, the Buffalo Bills.
No way.
More Josh. You get more Joshy.
Thank God there's not enough ever. It's his birthday today, by the way.
Happy birthday,
Happy
Josh.
birthday. Yesterday as you're listening, but Big Cat was in the little birthday compilation they made for him, the Bills.
Oh, really? What was it?
It was just him saying Josh Allen, something about Josh Allen.
That's awesome.
It was like from one of your guys' interviews.
That's awesome. Well, it's probably about the work that he does in the community
Mm-hmm.
that we appreciate about Josh. And then Hard Knocks in season is going to be the NFC East.
Does anyone watch that?
I watched a little bit of it last year. I think if you're one of the team, if you're a fan of like the Steelers, Ravens, Browns, Bengals like they had last year, you probably watched a good amount of it.
Mm-mm.
You didn't? Well,
It was
you
too
didn't.
depressing.
You wanted less content about the Browns.
Yeah, there was I was taking in as little content possible. I wasn't trying to get a peek in behind the curtain at that point. in
Yeah,
time.
you were going head in the sand mode.
Yeah.
But as a football fan, like throughout the week, I have so much going on preparing for the next week. I can't be worried about last week.
That's true, but if your team's good, then you want all the content.
Yeah, I guess. It's just, I like to prepare. you
I
know?
get it.
Do you have Adam Schefter's tweets alerted on
I
your
do.
phone?
Notifications.
It
Yep.
was, I looked over at his phone and he wasn't on Twitter. It was on his home screen. So
So I just opened my Twitter. I was like, how did he get that news? It's breaking. I look, and Adam Schefter just tweeted it, and I'm like, hold on.
No, it's usually pretty helpful. I will tell you the people that I have Twitter notifications on for. You ready?
Let's do it.
Adam Schefter, Skip Bayless,
Okay.
Rick Riley still, because he'll put out a
Right.
banger of a tweet like 4 days after something happens, and he'll think of a joke for it, and then he'll tweet that out. I still have Blooper on my notifications.
good one to have.
Well, I put the notifications on for Blooper after they lost to the Phillies, and he hadn't tweeted about it. He went dark for a little bit, so I put noties on to see when Blooper's going to tweet, and just so I would know, I would make sure that he was still okay. And now I have Jerry O'Connell on because I put notifications on after they beat the Celtics in Game 1. And so I wanted to know when Jerry was going to start bing-bonging Hanky. And my rule is, like, once I put your notifications on, I typically don't turn them off.
Nobody gets fired.
No one gets fired. It just keeps growing. All right, back to Hendrix. Middle name Marshall, which is kind of cool because he played Marshall amps. But he was born in
He's like a dork.
Seattle, Washington. How's that a dorky thing? I know the kind of amp that the greatest guitar player of all time played.
Yeah, you're a guitar dork. What's wrong with being a dork?
He was also, fascinating thing about Jimmy, he played a right-handed guitar. He was left-handed, but he played a right-handed guitar that was strung left-handed.
What does that mean?
So it means that a right-handed guitar, you hold the neck of it with your left hand, and then you pick it with your right hand. And the strings go, as you're looking down on it, from top to bottom, they go from the lowest to the highest. He played,
And thickest to the...
yeah, thickest to the skinniest.
Thinnest.
The skinniest is the highest string. He played a right-handed guitar, but he just held it with his right hand on the neck and his left hand picking, and he reversed the strings. So left-handed guitars are built for left-handed players. They're like a mirror image of a right-handed guitar. So you've got the knobs and the controls and all that stuff in what would be the same place, same location. But with a right-hand guitar strung left-handed, then all of a sudden all the knobs are up towards the top of the guitar instead of down at the bottom.
What was the thought behind that?
So my guess, I think it was because when he was growing up, he got like a second-hand guitar from his dad as his first guitar, and he got used to it. And it became an asset for him. It became like a strength that nobody else had because he could manipulate the tone knobs and the volume knobs with his left hand as he played more easily, as opposed to having to like reach down to the bottom of the guitar and fuck with him down there as he was playing. So it was like something that looked very, very unique about him.
His first, this is an interesting fact to me, his first string instrument was a one-stringed ukulele, which is wild to think. I would love to see him shred on a ukulele.
I think he's probably better at playing a one-string ukulele than I am at playing guitar. Get some cool sounds out of that thing.
You're pretty good. You're pretty good, man. Like you kind of nice at that shit.
I appreciate that. I feel like I'm slightly above average as a guitar player.
Good way to put it.
Which I'll take that.
Most good musicians say shit like that though. Like one of my homeboys is a touring pianist, and he's like, I mean, I'm alright. I'm like, dog, are you fucking kidding me? One time I was fucking with him, and he was playing something. It was like in, I don't know, G major, and I was like, I move to A minor, and he was like, boom, and he just did it, and I said another key. He moved. He's like, hey, keep going. It's kind of fun. And I recorded the whole thing, and it's just him switching keys but keeping the same song going. Shit was. It's unbelievable. And he's like, I'm all right. Like, bro, that's not normal.
I think it's because every musician has musicians that they look up to, that they know they will never be as good at or as good as. And so they always have like an inferiority complex about them.
I agree.
I think even the best musicians in the world, they have guys that they're like, yeah, that guy's different. I can never play. I would love to be able to play like that guy.
Yeah. You're not wrong.
So, yeah, his first guitar, his dad bought him in 1958. And it was a $5 secondhand acoustic guitar. Bought it from one of his friends. And then pretty soon after, Jimmy joined his first band, which was the Velvetones. So he was born in 1942. That would mean he got his first guitar that was all his when he was 16 years old. Which is crazy because that means that he only played for 11. He did all that shit in 11 years from his first guitar until his death.
That's just prodigy shit.
Yeah. Yeah, but he did love music as a kid even before he got instruments. He got that ukulele. His dad said, I used to have Jimmy clean up the bedroom all the time when I was gone. And when I would come home, I would find a lot of broom straws around the foot of the bed. I'd say to him, well, didn't you sweep up the floor? And he'd say, oh, yeah, he did. But I'd find out later that he used to be sitting at the end of the bed, strumming the broom like he was playing a guitar. So he was practicing on brooms.
That sounds kind of... You believe that?
I think that it might have helped him with rhythm, for sure. It didn't help him learn how to play the notes and chords and all that shit. But I think like practicing with your picking hand, like you're hitting a broom, if you're playing along to music, if you're like learning what the sounds like, how you can make different sounds, I think it can. Yeah, I think it could help.
I think that's one of those, because he was so nice, they're looking back and reaching for shit that they remember. But it could be the case. But it sounds like some shit any kid does, though.
Yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of kids do that. I think he might have actually been practicing, though.
Could have been. He was cold.
Even if he didn't know what practicing was. So in 1961, Jimmy enlisted in the U.S. Army. And by 1962, he was given the Screaming Eagle paratrooper patch. So he was stationed at Fort Campbell, Kentucky, where he started a band called the King Casuals. And then during a parachute jump, he got badly injured, so he got discharged. He had back problems. And then he began...
Thank the Lord.
What's up?
Thank the Lord.
Yeah, really. Like, that's a great for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, whoever like fucked with his parachute or whatever should be given a medal just by humanity. So he started playing with some bands by 1965. He played with Tina Turner, Sam Cooke, the Isley Brothers, and Little Richard. Royalty. So he was like the best studio session guitar player that they had by 1965. Again, this was 7 years after getting his first guitar. He was playing with all those guys. So yeah, virtuoso.
That's just insane.
It is crazy. 7 years. 7 years is not long to be playing guitar.
No.
It really isn't. Especially if you're self-taught and you don't read music. Nowadays, I think it's a little bit easier to get better at guitar faster because you've got YouTube, you've got all the free resources to like teach you all this stuff. So if you're really dedicated to it, you can become a great guitar player really fast, but you have to be like obsessed with it. Back then,
and also the impressiveness of it is back then they used to track songs once, one take.
Yeah.
And so you have to know all the chord breaks, every single progression, every single interlude, whatever the case may be. You have to know all that out at the top without reading. You're not reading sheet music, so you just know it, and you're tracking for all these different artists and all these different genres, all these different songs. That's insane, though.
And you have to go, if you want to listen to a song and figure out how to play a certain part, you have to have a record on and then hear the part and then stand up, walk over to the record, take the needle off, put it back where you think that part might have started and listen to it again. Being self-taught is crazy to get that good in 7 years.
That's wild, dog.
So, you know where he played a lot of his early shows? Mad Dog, you might know this place.
Where?
In Greenwich Village.
In New York?
Yeah, Cafe Wah. You know
Yeah.
Cafe Wah?
I loved Cafe Wow.
That's where he kind of blew up.
I think I went there one time to see what's the guy's name? Gavin DeGraw.
Really?
I think so. It was like a little place like that. It was Cafe something.
It's down on McDougal?
It's on McDougal, yeah. Where's that Irish bar that's right there? They got beer pong in the bar.
That's not your no.
I went there once or twice. I went to Groove, which is right down the street from Cafe Wah. They had great live music at Groove.
I always go to Off the Wagon right by there.
Oh, that might be the
that
place.
it?
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, I think it's Off the Wagon. Maybe
Yeah.
not Irish. Maybe it might have just been green.
Gross is a good word for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you want to see great live music in New York, go to Groove. They've got some of the best musicians that play there. It's right down the street from Cafe Wah. So he played at Cafe Wah. He played in his band Jimmy James and the Blue Flames. So when he left Little Richard, that's the artist that he was touring with before he went out on his own. He was the backup guitar player for Little Richard, and he was like, I think I could probably be lead guitarist. That lead guitar player that was playing with him knew. He knew the whole time. He's like, why am I the lead guitar player in front of this guy who's like way better than me? It's a matter of time. So he's probably pumped when Jimi Hendrix left because he's like, okay, sweet, I still have a job. So he was playing at Cafe Wah, and then the Animals bassist, the bassist for the band The Animals, was Chaz Chandler, and saw him playing at Cafe Wah and was like, this guy is insane. Saw him play, and then he came back later on that year in 1966 to be like, hey, I want you to move to London. I want you to start a band, and I want to work with you. So he really did that's back in the day when getting discovered was kind of a matter of luck. Where anybody could be in the audience on any given night. So it's all word of mouth. So this guy got him to move to London, and Chandler became his manager as well. So the first thing that Chandler did was he changed his name, because his name was Jimmy. And he's like, we got to shorten that up. It's Jimi.
Oh, that takes some of the luster off
You
it.
thought his name was actually Jimi?
I had no reason to believe otherwise.
Yeah.
I would say 85% of musicians have a stage name.
Probably.
Made that percentage up, but it's a high amount of them do.
Mhm.
Because I mean, some of them, the names just sound too cool. Like you have to craft some of that shit.
So his first single that he had with the Jimi Hendrix Experience in 1966 was Hey Joe. And
Good song.
great song. and it became number 6 on the charts. And then they put out an album, Are You Experienced, which is his first full-length album. And his first full-length album had Purple Haze, The Wind Cries Mary, Foxy Lady, and Fire, which is also that Fire could be in the top 5 as well.
Bangers.
Move over, Rover. Let Jimmy over. That's a great line to drop before you just rip a face-melting solo.
Greatest soloist of all time, right?
I mean, it all depends on how you define it, right? Because you could define it as most experimental, most creative. With what he had to work with at the time and other music that he had to draw as influence, I would say yes. I would say that no matter what era he was in, he would have been the greatest.
Who's it? Because this is like a Mount Rushmore type vibes, and I'm not a guitarist, so you're far more knowledgeable about this than me. But like, who would you say is in the barnyard of goats?
The barnyard of goats.
Yeah.
Are we talking just speed, or are we talking all around? Because they're two different things.
This is all criteria that you would like belong in the conversation with Jimi Hendrix.
Okay. I don't know. It's almost blasphemous to say they belong in the conversation with Jimi Hendrix.
Or Jimi Hendrix belongs in the conversation with them. However,
I would say
however you want to slice
Stevie Ray Vaughan would be up there.
Who's that?
Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Okay.
Blues player from Texas. I would put maybe Eric Johnson. He does Cliffs of Dover is his big hit that he did, but that's it's all instrumental stuff. So I don't think that most, like, if you just listen to music on the radio, you're probably not that familiar with him. But he's very, very famous. Those two. Some people would say Jimmy Page, but I think in terms of influential, yes, but he's had some really bad performances too. But
yeah,
he was a great guitar player. So I don't know that I'd put him in there. And then you run into the speed freaks like your Joe Satriani, Steve Vai. I would put Steve Vai in that conversation probably.
Yeah, I'm gonna look up all these because I'm
Steve Vai, last name Vai. And then if you want to get real like psycho with it, Wingay Malmsteen would be another one I'd put up there. His name is like YWING something, and then Malmsteen. MALM.
Malmsteen. Yeah, I'm gonna check all these dudes out.
That's just off the top of my head. I'm sure I left a million people. Oh, and Steven Seagal. I gotta
Kim
put
Jong-un.
You got to put Steven Seagal in there. Have you seen him play guitar?
I have not.
Have you listened to Steven Seagal music?
I have not.
Oh, buddy.
Is it good?
Define good. It's enjoyable.
Are you laughing with him or at him?
Anybody?
I don't want to anger Steven Seagal or Vladimir Putin, for that matter. So I'm laughing with Steven Seagal. I don't think Steven Seagal has ever laughed at himself in his life. I think his single was called Miwan de Punani. I think that was the name of it. But I've seen him play a solo, and he plays like 2 notes over and over again, and he's acting like he's shredding on it.
He's Lil Wayne in it.
It's one of the funniest performances that you could ever see. Steven Seagal ripping a guitar solo. Dead serious.
You seen the Lil Wayne one?
I did see that, yeah.
That shit was horrible, dog.
One more person that I would put in the best guitar soloists, Prince.
Ooh, really?
And Eddie Van Halen.
Van Halen. Okay.
He's another guy that nobody played guitar like him before. I would say he has like a similar mind that Jimmy had, where he just invented a genre of playing guitar, and nobody else had thought to do it that way. And then after the fact, they're like, wow, that was really smart of him. We're going to start playing like him.
Nice. One of my favorites, that's kind of related. One of my favorite bassists is Victor Wooten. You heard Victor Wooten?
Yeah.
Cold, dog. Oh my God. Just different.
Really
Love
good.
Victor Wooten shit.
He's the type of musician that somebody who's not even like a fan of bass or really a fan of listening to instrumental music, you can listen to Victor Wooten and have a great time.
Yeah,
You know that he's
100%.
different. Like
Yeah,
he's playing the bass and almost playing the drums at the same time on his bass.
and the lead, it's insane. The amount he's able to get out of the bass is well,
Yeah.
just reimagining how you're supposed to play bass. It's beautiful.
So back to Jimmy. After that album came out, which maybe the greatest debut album of all time, he came back to America because he was overseas in England and they loved him over there. He came back in 1967 and he played Monterey International Pop Festival, and that's where he covered Wild Thing. And then America was introduced to Jimi Hendrix fully. And in 1968, he started to take control over the production of more of his music. And he started his own recording studio, Electric Lady Studios. And that's where he put out Electric Ladyland.
He started Electric
Is that
Lady?
the one on where Taylor Swift
Yes.
went? That's like 2 steps from where I lived in New York.
He
Really?
started Electric Lady?
He started Electric Lady Studios.
That's sick.
Now you're impressed.
I'm in now.
She sat up in
Before
her seat.
that,
Well, hold on.
forget
Who's this
it.
Jimmy?
I had
Yeah.
Without Jimi Hendrix, there is no Taylor Swift.
Some
Wow.
may
walked by that place 1,000 times and never known a music studio was there until it became a thing that she was going there, and then people were like walking up and down it all the time.
What albums did she record there?
say. Like, I would probably say at some point, some songs have been written everyone since 1989, maybe when she moved to New York. And Jack Antonoff, her producer, the guy who like does everything, he is there a lot. Like Sabrina Carpenter goes there, Gracie Abrams, like all our girls,
All our girls.
and like all of our guys too. Like everyone uses Electric Lady.
We'll say thank you to Jimi Hendrix
Thank you, Jimi Hendrix,
for starting that. So he put out the album Electric Ladyland, and that was kind of a mix of it wasn't as well received by the masses as his first album was because it's more experimental. And then he disbanded the Jimi Hendrix Experience in 1969. But then also in 1969, he played Woodstock, which I would agree the most iconic performance at the most iconic festival in American history. That and Richie Havens did a great set at Woodstock too. I would
I
say
don't think I've seen that.
those are the two things that stood out. So he did the Star Spangled Banner, and people absolutely loved it. And then he teamed up with Billy Cox and Buddy Miles, and they started performing as the Band of Gypsies. The Jimi Hendrix and the Band of Gypsies were not as critically well received as some of the other stuff that he was doing. His managers were complaining that he was taking too much time in the studio, that he had no direction when he was recording. He was really into drugs at the time, but he was getting experimental with it because he didn't want to make the same album again and again. And ultimately, that was the last group that he played with before his death in September 18th, 1970 is when he passed away. Now, we can get into some of the theories around his death. Just
All right.
a crazy, again, just to reiterate, this was a span of like 5 years when Jimi Hendrix put out all of his shit, which is crazy. So my favorite theory about him is that he is actually not dead. He might still
Okay.
be alive.
Does he live with Jim Morrison?
He does not, but you do know who he is. He's Morgan Freeman.
Wait, what?
He's Morgan Freeman. This comes from News Punch, which is a great news website. Obviously, you can tell by the name, News Punch. Morgan Freeman is Jimi Hendrix researchers' claim. Researchers. I think they might be using that term probably maybe accurately. Jimi Hendrix reinvented himself as actor Morgan Freeman in the 1970s, shortly after faking his own death, researchers claim. According to internet sleuths, Morgan Freeman's sudden rise to fame in the 1970s occurred after Hendrix supposedly died on September 18th, 1970. Think about it. The timeline. Jimi Hendrix died in 1970. Morgan Freeman got famous in the 1970s. Coincidence?
Credible source, internet sleuths.
Yeah, I mean, even in the article, it says researchers claim per internet sleuths.
All right, listen to this. This is from some random Twitter account, so take it for what it's worth. Morgan Freeman was 33 years and 3 months old when Jimi Hendrix died at the age of 333 months and 3 weeks old, while Kurt Cobain was exactly 3 years and 30 weeks old. Jim Morrison died less than a year later when he was 330 months and 3 weeks old. 3 times 3 times 3 is 27,
Okay.
the 27 Club.
Mm.
Amy Winehouse. There's a bunch of them. You know who else died at age 33, Big T?
I do.
The big dog.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the first person to ever call him that.
Club 33. Forget about Club 27.
Yeah.
The big dog.
So there's some supporting evidence behind why Morgan Freeman might actually be Jimi Hendrix. They both love music. They look alike.
Fair point. They both love music.
They look
Go on.
alike.
Okay.
And Freeman became famous after Hendrix died.
Some good evidence right there.
I would say, what is the most distinctive part about Morgan Freeman, Arian?
His voice.
You would think that you would hear some of that voice in Hendrix's singing.
Conversely,
Maybe.
however,
Also his freckles though too.
if
Yeah,
you
freckles.
were trying to reinvent yourself, you'd create a new voice.
Can you do that?
I guess.
Maybe he was like Frank Caliendo.
Voice. Yeah, some voice actors.
Yeah, that's
That's
true.
the one thing that always stood out to me with Jimi Hendrix is he wasn't that good of a singer at all, but it was so distinct and his guitar player was so good that nobody gave a fuck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, I thought of another song I could put in my top 5. Little Wing.
Let me run that real quick. Let me see. Little Wing. I know I've heard it. I just don't remember.
Little Wing. It's like a bluesy, slow bluesy song.
Oh yes. Okay.
Great song.
Oh yeah.
Now, some would say, wait, PFT, hasn't Morgan Freeman, wasn't he acting in movies prior to Jimi Hendrix's death? And the answer to that is yes. So it's a minor discrepancy that we can work out in the future.
A little bit.
But he was on screen. There's proof of him being alive, not looking like Jimi Hendrix in the mid-'60s. But we don't have to concern ourselves with that. So there have been a lot of rumors about his death because he died tragically. I believe the official cause of death was he choked asphyxiation on his own vomit. So
Tough.
yeah, he had taken a few pills, some barbiturates.
Yeah, Big T. That is tough.
Yeah, not a great way.
Yeah, he had taken some pills, some barbiturates, and amphetamine, and he drank some red wine and ate a meal, and so he was throwing up in his sleep, and he was not turned over, and he just inhaled his own puke and then suffocated on that. Bad way to go. In Spinal Tap, they said that their drummer choked on vomit as well, but it was somebody else's vomit, which is kind of a weird twist to it, but not.
I'd say that's bottom 10.
Well, that's also a mockumentary movie, Spinal Tap.
No, well,
Yeah.
this obviously happened to Jimi Hendrix.
This way of dying is not good. But then there have been a lot of discrepancies and people making claims since he passed away, trying to claim maybe conspiracy around it. And one of the conspiracies is tied into his manager, who's named Michael Jeffrey. So the most famous claim about his manager, Michael Jeffrey, who had been kind of manipulating Jimmy's career, had been trying to sink his hooks in deeper to Jimmy to try to get him to make him more money, who had actually taken out through the record label an insurance claim on Jimmy's life. They're claiming that he forced him to swallow pills because he wanted to get the life insurance out of it and also be entitled to a lot of the royalties in the future. This guy, Michael Jeffrey, was his manager, and I read that he was like very secretive about how he kept his books. He kept all of his books in Russian. he would write down the accounting in Russian so that if it was ever confiscated by anybody, it would be very, very difficult to translate and difficult to prove any sort of fraud. So Michael Jeffrey was worried that Jimmy was going to get a new manager, and that allegedly Michael Jeffrey told one of the roadies, Tappy Wright, who wrote a book in 2009 about like what it was like being a roadie back in the 60s and 70s. This guy, James Tappy Wright, said that Michael Jeffrey told him that Jimmy was worth more to him dead than alive, and that there was a $2 million life insurance policy on it. And that Jeffrey Wright also confessed to the crime, saying, "You understand, don't you? I had to do it. You know damn well what I'm talking about. We went round to his hotel room, got a handful of pills, stuffed them into his mouth, then poured a few bottles of red wine deep into his windpipe." And Tappy Wright his account has been disputed by a few people, but Jeffrey Wright had connections with the intelligence community. Some say he was former intelligence as MI5 or CIA, and he was spying. And he was also he was very close to organized crime in the United States too. So he knew the Lucchese crime family, and he knew crime families in Newcastle as well. And he was scheduled to testify in court about defrauding some of his artists and various matters. And he was flying into London, and he died in a plane crash in 1973. Some people say that he did not get on that plane, that he put his bags on, did not board the plane. Obviously, they never found a body because the plane crashed, and in a plane crash, especially in the 1970s, you don't really like identify body parts. But then Hendrix's manager that he had in the U.S. was a guy named Bob Levine, and he said that Hendrix was not murdered. It's a big lie. And he accused Tappy of making up the story entirely because he wanted to sell books. And he says that Tappy told him, "Who's going to challenge me? Everyone's dead. Everybody's gone." Mitch Mitchell, he was the drummer. Noel Redding, he was the guitar player. They're all gone. No one can challenge what I wrote. So some people are disputing that claim, that's a pretty shitty thing to do after everybody's dead if you just make up the fact that there was a murder.
It's good. It's good for nowadays.
It is, yeah. I mean, it definitely adds, some questions to it. Now, it is true that Jimi Hendrix was being surveilled by the CIA, because if you were a member of the counterculture back then, the FBI and the CIA wanted to keep tabs on you because they wanted to see what you were doing, who you were running with, what kind of influence you were trying to peddle on the American people. It was a time of, obviously, Vietnam, social change, civil unrest. So if you're one of these people, the FBI and the CIA, they would put you into, the FBI would put you into COINTELPRO, which was their counterintelligence. And they were surveilling, especially if you were a black musician or a black celebrity at the time, they were keeping very, very close tabs on you. And so Hendrix's brother said that he was on a list the same level as Osama bin Laden later after 9/11. He said there were credible reasons for thinking he might have been murdered by the American government as a threat at a time of extreme paranoia when they had these contingency plans for rounding up people they thought were threats and putting them in camps in the early 70s. He started to become affiliated with black radical groups like the Black Panthers, and that would freak out the government or the CIA or the FBI because he had such influence over white audiences. So I don't know that would say that the CIA or FBI definitely murdered him, but it does tie into his manager that had intelligence connections.
Yeah, I mean, there's no like confirmed evidence. I think it was just like my sister has an FBI file. I think it was just like they monitor people who, especially back then, was associated with counterculture, like you said, and I mean it was during the civil rights movement, so they had a lot of tabs on black folks back then.
Mm-hmm. There's also some speculation. He was kidnapped at one point too. Jimi Hendrix was kidnapped by mafia guys in fall of 1969. Now there's some speculation behind this that it was a staged kidnapping too. That his manager was like, I want you to kidnap this guy, and then I will show up, and I'll save the day. The classic fake kidnapping, where somebody saves the day, and then you're indebted to them. Those never turn out well, I don't think. The fake kidnappings. So
I don't know enough about kidnappings.
it was John Roberts. He was a former mafioso. He was with the Gambino family, and it was after Woodstock, and so Jimmy was playing at the opening of a New York City nightclub part owned by this guy John Roberts called Salvation. And Roberts says, at the reopening, we had movie stars, models, and one of the Kennedys all waiting to get in. I wonder which Kennedy that would have been. My business partner, Andy, probably Ted. My business partner, Andy, was always a funny guy. He pulled me aside and said, John, let's spike the punch. Let them all freak out at our party. So they put a bunch of Quaaludes in the punch. And Hendrix was on a quest at Salvation. He was doing drugs, trying to meet some women. And then he ran into the two young Italians that Roberts says were not mafioso, but wise guy wannabes. They saw Hendrix. They're like, let's pick him up. Let's get him out of this nightclub. Let's get him to an apartment. Let's tell him we're going to sell him some coke. And he said, in the course of the night, Jimi Hendrix tried to get me to shoot speed with him, but I wasn't into needles. So what they...
Shooting speed is what? Is that a normal way to take speed?
I think most people smoke it, but I think you can shoot it too.
I thought it was pills.
Well, I guess I'm thinking meth. Speed, yes, pills. But you can also definitely, if it's like biker crank, you can melt that shit down, poke it in.
You could pretty much shoot any substance, right?
I think so. Can you shoot weed?
Okay, maybe not every substance.
Can you inject THC? Has anybody done that?
Oh man,
I guarantee you people have. Yes.
If you can like liquefy it, I guess you could technically. Let's see if you can. I don't know.
You're tying off in a back alley, injecting THC.
People like
Can you
snort
shoot
that
weed?
candy that we used to get.
Yeah.
Like what was that? The what?
Smarties?
No, it was like the powder one that you dip the stick in.
Oh, Fun Dip.
Fun Dip. So I'm sure you could do anything.
Yeah.
This the AI from Google says, no, you cannot and should not inject marijuana. While some cannabis oil products come in syringes, these are meant for oral consumption, adding to edibles or vaporizing. Injecting marijuana, especially in crude forms, can be dangerous and lead to serious health complications. Pretty sure there's a way you can do it.
You could, I think it'd be possible.
Yeah.
I don't think it'd be safe though.
Yeah, don't do that shit though. Just smoke it or eat it.
I guarantee.
Nothing funnier than seeing a dog getting into your weed stash though. That shit is funny as hell.
Yeah. When Leroy was a little puppy, he ate a little bit of weed off the floor by mistake. I don't know if he actually got high or if I just said, look at this, my puppy's high. But it was fun to think about.
Yeah, I've seen a dog high before. They be pissing on themselves.
Yeah. Don't do it. Don't get your dogs high. Don't get them drunk. They don't know what's going on.
YOLO.
So Hendrix got kidnapped. They weren't asking for money, but they said they want his contract from his manager, Michael Jeffrey, and then we will release him. But this guy Roberts said that he made a few phone calls, found out where Jimmy was, called them up and said, you let Jimmy go or you're dead. Do not harm a hair of his afro. Yep. And then this whole time, Jimmy doesn't really recall too much about what happened because he was really fucked up on drugs. Either he was shooting heroin or some people claim that the kidnappers injected him with heroin. But
that's a drug I want to try but won't.
Yeah, don't try it. Do not.
Nah, but I bet it's amazing, dog.
Yeah.
It's got to feel so good.
So this guy says that he showed up and gave them a beating they would never forget, and they got out, and Jeffrey still had the contract in his name. But some people claim that it was set up by his management so that they could rescue him, so that Jimmy would be like, okay, I'll do what you say. I'll be more disciplined in the recording studio. There's also claims that his manager planted heroin on him to get him arrested with heroin so that he would be forced to to work harder at touring and at recording to make up the money that would pay off his fines and his debts. So that's one of the claims out there about him. I don't know if any of that's true. Like, I feel like Jimmy probably had drugs on him most of the time. I don't know that you need to plant anything on him. Also, his recording contract sucked. He made 3% royalties off his recordings.
What's normal?
Wait,
Not that.
Not
God
that.
damn.
Yeah, not that. I don't know what it is nowadays. I think it depends on if you write the songs, depends on when you sign your contract, how much power you have in those negotiations.
I mean, now you can own 100% of your catalog, 100% of your publishing, but you have to split it with like your producers, or if somebody's credited on writing the song. But 3% that's labels are absolutely raping.
His
A normal
360
royalty rate for a recording contract typically falls between 10 and 25%.
I'll put it this way: his manager had 30%, and then he had 3%, which is pretty crazy.
They raped him.
So a year before he actually died, he went to a tarot card reading in Morocco.
Yeah.
And the tarot card lady turned up the death card, and then he told his buddy, "I'm going to die before I'm 30." So he was kind of obsessed with his own death at that point. He
wasn't wrong.
Yeah, I mean, he told a friend, "I'm almost gone," when he was at Ronnie Scott's Jazz Club in Soho, and he got too messed up to play guitar. So he said, "I'm almost gone." So he was not in a good place mentally, for sure.
That's got to be tough, man.
Yeah.
Just an anomaly, super talented, and enjoy drugs.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Now, there's also another suspect in all this, which was his kind of girlfriend, but kind of, I've heard her referred to as a muse. She was a muse for like many musicians, which I think just means she was fun to party with and kind of sunk her hooks into you. So I don't know that they were exclusive ever. Her name was Monica Danneman, and she was the last person to see Jimmy alive, allegedly. So he was on a little bit of a binge with Monica. She was a 25-year-old German ex-ice skater, and they used to bang. And they stayed in a basement apartment that belonged to Danneman. Jimmy was engaged at the time to a Danish model named Kirsten Neffer. And she was out of town. She was working on a film set. And so Jimmy was just kind of left to his own devices in London. And his best buddy was Billy Cox. He was, I believe, the bass player. Yeah, he was the bass player that jammed with Hendrix. He drank some punch that was spiked with LSD, and he was having delusions that he was being poisoned. I don't know if you can call that a delusion. If you drink punch that's spiked with LSD and you're like, "Oh, I think somebody's poisoning me," I think you're probably right about that. So he flew back to the United States because he was freaking out so much. So
Have you ever done LSD?
I did take acid with Donnie in Qatar, but it was a very small amount.
Oh, that's right. Okay, yeah.
But
So you never taken like a hero dose enough to like experience the?
No, I've
I want
not.
to do it, but I'm scared.
I'm a little bit scared,
Yeah, me too.
and I think if you're scared, that's not a good mentality to be in as you try.
Yeah. I mean, weed gives me anxiety now. LSD will put me on high alert. I will absolutely pass out.
I would not recommend your first time experimenting with acid to be in Qatar.
Yeah, that's a place you're not supposed. It's like the opposite of what the experience is supposed to be.
Not a great place. Not a great first place to do it. I wasn't like freaking out, but it was definitely, there was some anxiety there. But yeah, neither here nor there. This guy got freaked out, so he decided to get on a plane and fly back to the States. That would be the last thing I would do, I think, is fly overseas. Like I would never be like, get me to an airport and put me on an airplane. I would just say, lock me in a room, a quiet, dark room with a bunch of water and let me sleep.
My safe place would be like around like a testing for like if I'm a guinea pig for LSD.
Yeah.
And they have like medical people on that would put me at ease.
Yeah. You know that you're being monitored. Yeah.
Yeah. That would put me at ease.
So his I guess we can call her his girlfriend, Monica Danneman.
Side piece.
Side piece. She
Yep.
changed her story more than a dozen times, and she would take things back. She would tell things that did not match up before. Her story just kept changing. But in some versions, she woke up at 9, in others at 10:20 a.m., or in some even closer to 11 a.m. But she says that she woke up, found Hendrix asleep. She went out for cigs, and then when she came back, there was vomit on his mouth, and she couldn't wake him up. And she also claimed that they had fallen in love and that they were actually engaged. So according to Hendrix's biographer, Philip Norman, he says, she seemed to be an obsessive fan who could actually harm the object of their adoration. Her claim was that she was engaged to him and that she was the love of his life, and that seemed very questionable. So she apparently gave Jimmy that night a strong German sleeping pill, Vesparax, and each tablet was a double dose for his injury, or for the injury that she had from her skating career. So they don't know how many tablets he took, but according to folk singer Buzzy Leonard, the day before his death, Hendrix complained about being awake for days, and a New York doctor had advised Hendrix to take 3 doses of his regular sleeping pill because he developed a tolerance. 3 or 4 double doses of the Vesparax would have been a danger, and Danneman believed he might have taken up to 9 doses. So they called the ambulance at 11:18, and they got to the apartment at 11:27, and that's 2 hours after she said that she woke up. So in the medical reports from the people that looked at Hendrix, the ambulance crew said that the apartment was empty, Hendrix was unresponsive, and his throat was entirely blocked with vomit. They said, we tried to revive him, but we couldn't. The vomit was all dried. He'd been lying there for a long time. There was no heartbeat. He was blue, not breathing, and not responding to light or responding to pain. They did another investigation in 1993 with the Sussex police, and the superintendent said that Hendrix might still have been alive when he got to the hospital, where they brought him to a resuscitation room rather than right to the morgue, or maybe he died in the ambulance. This woman, Danneman, committed suicide in 1996. So we'll never know what she had to say about it besides all the different stories. We'll never know the actual truth because she gave so many different stories about what happened. The lady that was the inspiration for the song Foxy Lady was a woman named Kathy Etchingham, and she said in a documentary that she believes it was Danneman that gave Hendrix the tablets. She was a stalker who was afraid that the guitarist would leave her. While she may not have intended to kill him, she didn't want him to leave. And then Danneman also claimed in 1975 that she thinks he was murdered by mobsters. I think he got poisoned, that he got actually murdered. There's something really behind the whole thing, and there's quite a powerful group behind all that. I think it is the mafia. So what happened that night, before he actually died, he went out, he met up with a couple ladies and some friends, went out to a party, took a speed pill, was at the party hanging out, and apparently in a fight with this lady Monica that might have been a stalker, might have just been like his side piece at the time. But she showed up to the party. They got into an argument. She convinced him to leave the argument. They went back to the apartment, and that's where he ended up dying.
Damn.
Yep.
So it's his side pieces, man.
He also gave Danneman a poem. He wrote a poem for her, and the poem was, he said, I want you to keep this. I don't want you to forget anything that's written. Story about you and me. The story of life is quicker than the wink of an eye. The story of love is hello and goodbye until we meet again. You could say maybe a poem from a depressed guy, maybe a poem from a guy that was trying to break up with her.
That sounds like something from someone who killed himself to me.
It could also just be like, hey,
Didn't he give that to her like the day that he died?
I'm letting you go with a poem.
Yeah, and then he took 18 sleeping pills.
Then he had a bunch of pills, yeah. So the poem says the things that Hendrix has always been saying, but to which nobody ever listened. That's what Eric Burden, his friend, said. It was a note of goodbye and a note of hello. I don't think Jimmy committed suicide in the conventional way. He just decided to exit when he wanted to. I don't know. The Monica Danneman story to me seems like it just piecing some of the puzzle together where it's like you're in a fight with somebody that's obsessed with you. Side piece is mad that you're talking to other girls, that you're not like tied down to her. I'm going to show up to the party because I'm mad at you, get you to leave the party, and then you wake up the next morning dead, and then I can't remember what time I found you. When you left, you didn't have puke on your face, and then when it came back, you did, but then when the ambulance came, the puke was dried up. It seems inconsistent, that's all.
Yeah, it sounded like she was a little obsessed. I'm gonna go with that one. I'm in that camp. I'm in the camp of she probably had something to do with his death.
Yeah.
It's the inconsistency for me. It's the this is not just like the homie. This is not just a guy you knew. This is Jimi fucking Hendrix, and your account is changing so much. It screams incompetence or some kind of guilt.
Mm-hmm. So they said in the medical report that, or I guess the doctor said in 2009, much later, that his stomach and his lungs were full of wine, and the autopsy actually said that there was no wine in his lungs or stomach and little alcohol in his bloodstream. I read that it was like 4 pints of beer worth of alcohol that was in his bloodstream at the time.
Well, nothing. Oh, 4 pints is a lot. Never mind.
No, not like 4 pints of alcohol that was in his stomach at the time, which is not that much.
Like you drank 4 beers.
Yeah, 4 beers.
Yeah, got you.
And Danneman said that they drank a bottle of wine together when he died, and his friend said that he did not drink red wine.
Damn.
And at the time, the gang members in Newcastle would pretty much waterboard you or funnel wine down your throat if they wanted to kill you. That's there were a couple murders that they had done, that they had been caught by using that method.
Why would they? What's the point of that?
I don't know.
Make you feel really good before you die.
Yeah, make you very calm. So Sharon Lawrence wrote a book in 2005 called Jimi Hendrix, The Man, the Magic, the Truth. And in 1996, she asked Danneman if she poured wine down Hendrix's throat herself. Danneman said, "It was all untidy. He was messy. I thought it would help." So is maybe her explanation that she poured red wine all over him to try to get the puke off or get the puke out? I don't know. Pretty gross. I don't know that would be my first reaction to finding somebody like that. Let's pour more stuff.
Sterilize the smell.
Yeah, or like it's got alcohol in it. That'll clean it up.
That's sad, man.
It is very sad, but also very remarkable that he did all this shit in just a couple years.
That's what I be thinking about Tupac.
Yeah,
He died at 25, dog.
I didn't know he
Wild.
was that young.
Yeah, bro, 25 years old.
it's crazy.
Unreal.
When did he start rapping?
I think his first album was maybe 19 or 20, like really young, and it was nothing like when he died. So like when he died, he was very much so. I don't know that he ever glorified streets like that, but he was definitely, his social commentary was more of like he was involved in it, whereas his early works was more so like an outsider looking in, not an outsider, but like a narrator to tell what was going on with his experience, right? So there was a difference. And so when he died, it was more like what he was involved in. Early was more like what he saw around him. And that change was just so fast. I mean, 5 years, and then to have the impact you have. I mean, amazing. It's insane. But I also think we glorify death as a culture too. Like when you die young, like you become immortalized in this,
Yeah,
like almost a martyr.
yeah. Like, yeah, I would agree with that. Same with painters, artists of any sort.
Yeah. Basquiat is astonishing to me.
What'd he do?
Like his you don't know Basquiat?
I'm not familiar. I'm not a big art guy.
Basquiat, I think he's in the 27 Club. Fact check me on that. But he had like I don't want to misspeak, but I
Yes,
think it was like
27 Club.
Renaissance style painting. But very abstract. I don't say Renaissance, but it was very abstract. Was he? What did you say?
Yep. He was.
Yeah, he was. So he was like extremely like they were very political, but it was like very abstract. So it was very um like cartoonish, and it looked like if outsiders like if you don't really like know art, like, it looked like a kid's painting, but like apparently the techniques he used and like all the style is very, I don't know, amazing. I know his shit sells for like millions of dollars now. That, and I think he was in a gay relationship with Andy Warhol, I believe.
Okay.
But super dope paintings. Like looking back at it, just really dope. But I think a lot of it's because he died. When you die, your demand goes up, and so we kind of revere that, and then what you say means more. Like we don't get a chance to see you grow old. I think that adds to the allure of dead artists in general. We don't get a chance to see you grow, and we kind of you lose all your momentum and your steam, which is kind of the opposite, I think, of what should happen, because as you grow as an artist, your thoughts sharpen. And so like Jay-Z, if he died young, he'd be like a Biggie. Biggie only had 2 albums, dog. That's insane. But it's because you become a part of the lore of a genre.
And there's nothing that happens from that point on in your life that can erase the nostalgia you have for listening to them and experiencing them for the first time.
Mm-hmm. That's why, like, it's such a subjective thing, because it's a feeling thing. If I look at a painting that makes me feel a certain way, you can't erase that feeling that I had. And if that artist dies, it intensifies that feeling because it meant more. Like, man, he got me, and he's no longer here. So you almost feel connected to a ghost.
Yeah. Just imagine what they would have done if they had lived.
Yeah. Yep.
One fun fact about Hendrix, I think it was his first tour that he did in the United States. You know what band he opened up for?
Oh, I know this. Shit, what does it start with?
M.
Maybe I don't know this.
The Monkees.
The Monkees. I did know that. I forgot, though.
The Monkees, who were like bubblegum pop. They didn't allegedly play their own instruments. They were just like a manufactured boy band of the 1960s. And the audiences hated Jimi Hendrix.
I can imagine.
It's like a bunch of teenagers going out there trying to hear Wake Up Sleepy Jean. And then Hendrix is lighting his guitar on fire and like doing acid on stage.
Shredding. Look at all these fucking obscure notes, bro. Get the fuck.
Yeah, it sounds like the devil's chord.
That is the quintessential Ben Shapiro pretentious chord.
Yeah.
What a pretentious chord choice.
So he left that tour after 6 shows. He was like, "Yep, not for me. They don't like me. I'm out."
I wonder who made that. They fire him or he quit?
That's a good question. I don't know. I would watch a documentary about that tour though.
Yeah.
He was probably trying to party with the Monkees backstage.
Hey, we're the Monkees. There's no monkey around.
Yeah, dude, I wish there was a documentary camera rolling for that. That'd be great to see.
Big T, you like the Monkees?
I don't know that I could name you a song by the Monkees. I've heard the name, but
Gotcha.
I don't think there's any artist before like the 80s that I enjoy necessarily.
Okay, look, you've had some bad takes. You've had some good takes. This is by far your worst take.
I just don't listen to that music.
But this is my problem with the youth. Like, when I was growing up, I used to love digging into what my parents listened to. And I used to listen to what I listened to. But it's like there's generations of music that people lived by. Like, it's part of the experience. Dog, you need to dig into, because to me, the best era of music is the 60s. 60s is the best era
I
of
just
music,
don't enjoy that kind of music.
Oh, yeah, but you got to find your genre. If you don't like the Beatles, try, I don't know.
I mean, I listen to older country music, but only going back to like the 80s, maybe the late
That's
70s.
even wild
but
because country music, that's how it was born. Like it was born earlier than that. So I mean, because I like that the country era music you're talking about, George Strait, all them cats. Yeah. Who's another one? Give me another one.
Alabama,
Reba,
Brooks and Dunn, Glenn
Brooks Dunn,
Campbell.
Reba McEntire, all that shit,
Yeah.
right? 100%. But I'm on record. Greatest country artist to me is Patsy Cline. Hard, cold. Yeah, I think you need to do that, Big T. You'd like that. You'd like the originality of it and the origins of it.
I've heard a lot of older country music than that even, and it's just it's too. This is like saying that if you love football now, you'd love football from the 50s
This
even
is
more.
not like saying that. No,
maybe, but probably not.
No, the reason why this is not an analogous comparison is because the players have demonstrably gotten bigger, stronger, faster. Musicians have not demonstrably gotten better. I would argue they've actually gotten worse because the skill set you needed back then was you actually had to have real talent. You had to usually know some kind of instrument. You had to play. The songs were predicated off of storytelling and chord structure. Like now it's like, how can you make a song for TikTok? How can you make it popular?
I think
back then it wasn't like that.
I think there are a lot of people who are shitty that do that, but I think the ones that are the best are better than the best were 50 years ago.
Oh, I don't know. I don't think so. No, I think this is a bad take.
That's fine.
I think this is bad. Give me an example. Like I don't think there's female singers wise. There's nobody touching Whitney Houston right now. Not even nowhere in the stratosphere of Whitney Houston.
In terms of like singing ability or
singing
artist.
ability. Huh?
Yeah, I mean I don't focus on the technical aspects that much, so that's probably true.
Well, this is why I think the analogy is bad, right? The analogy is bad because it's like you could argue a mid-tier basketball player right now is just as talented, if not more talented, than one of the best basketball players in the 80s, talent-wise, right? That's why it's not a fair comparison because musically, I would argue musically back then there was more musicality in music.
That's probably true.
And that's me too. And also the way it's distributed is different, right? So the way we consume music has changed. So again, there's not as much asked of artists now as there was back then, as far as talent wise, and also another thing, albums are become less and less prevalent. And so people put less effort into curating good albums, and it's more about singles. It's more about hits. They always wanted hits back then. Don't get me wrong, but they curated a project like nothing else. I don't know, man. I think it'd do you good just to double back, man. There was beautiful music back then. Beautiful.
All right.
Cheer up, sleepy Jean. Oh, what can it mean to a daydream believer and a homecoming queen? Your face as you're singing that is fucking hilarious, though. To a daydream believer and a homecoming queen. It is a banger of a song.
I'm looking at the top 100 country songs of the 70s on Spotify, and 70s, I definitely like a lot of these. I don't know about 60s.
Name them. Fire them off.
On the 70s is Jolene.
Mm-hmm.
Mamas Don't Let Your Babies Grow Up to Be Cowboys. Rhinestone Cowboy, Devil Went Down to Georgia, one of my all-time favorites.
Rhinestone Cowboy, cold, huh?
The Gambler. Thank God I'm a Country Boy. Take Country Roads. Coal Miner's Daughter. Tennessee Whiskey.
Oh.
So yeah, 70s is great. Let me look at 60s.
My uncle was on that song, Coal Miner's Daughter.
Really?
Yeah. Banjo player.
Wow. 60s is Crazy by Patsy Cline.
Oh, take my heart from me, Patsy. Go ahead.
Some Merle Haggard. I haven't heard a lot of these.
Dig into them, bro. I promise you go like this. Do you like that song Crazy by Patsy Cline? I know I will karaoke that bitch.
I don't know that I've heard
it.
it.
Oh,
bro, do yourself a favor.
I'll listen to some of these today.
Dig into her catalog too. Oh, Patsy Cline, brother. That strikes a chord with me. Oh my God.
I texted Arian, Morgan Wallen's new album came out last Friday, and there's a song on there that's like kind of a rap song. And I texted him the link. I said, tell me what you think of this song. And he said, I thought it was a parody at first.
I gotta listen to it.
It's called Miami. Some kids on TikTok seem to like it. I do not like it.
I gotta give it a listen.
And it samples Miami, Miami by Keith Whitley.
Okay.
And so he says it's supposed, and Morgan Wallen loves Keith Whitley. Like he has another song called, I think it might be called Keith Whitley, and that's a great song. But this one is not good.
Should have stayed in the chamber.
Yeah.
Garth Brooks or Morgan Wallen?
Oh, well, now listen, I like a lot of Morgan Wallen songs. I think he has some great songs, but I mean, Garth Brooks is Garth Brooks.
I agree. It was Morgan Wallen's probably the most popular country artist right now, right?
Yeah.
That's what
By
I'm saying. It's not close, man. You got to dig back. Way better artists.
I think Luke Combs was in contention for a little while, but I mean Wallen's massive.
But Eric Church.
He's fallen off quite a
Luke
bit.
Bryan for a while too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was like earlier 2000s. I hate Luke Bryan now after the concert fiasco of 2024.
Oh yeah, that was a fiasco. Is the right word for
Yeah.
that.
Kelsey Ballerini's getting up there now.
Yeah. But she's still not doing like stadiums. Oh, honestly, Zach Bryan, does he count?
What's up with all these guys having two first names?
So true.
I never trust a guy with two first names.
Nope.
But Zach Bryan's selling out like the big house.
Yeah, I guess you would consider him country. I don't. I think he's a little more
Folk.
Yeah.
What's Casey Musgraves been up to?
Oh yeah,
Being
she's
hot.
popular.
Being hot.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah. She's doing well. She sells like arenas out.
Good
So
for her.
to put in perspective, even Zach Bryan, who's massive, 25 million monthly listeners on Spotify. Wallen's 40.
Damn.
Is Thomas Rhett that big?
How much does Ludacris have?
Let's all guess. I'm gonna say 18
10.
I haven't.
18 what?
million.
18 million total listens?
No,
no,
monthly,
Oh, monthly
listeners.
Yeah, I have no idea how to gauge that.
It's 8.
Ah, it's close.
I overestimated him.
I think 5 of those are for me.
Let's do Future. He's up
So
there.
he's definitely going to be way higher than Ludacris. Now I'll say 18.
6. I say, oh no, way killing that. 60.
60? You think Morgan Wallen's 40 million and Future's 60?
I have the
I do.
answer.
I do.
55.
What?
Wow.
You underestimate pop culture, my brother.
That's nuts.
Well, it's also it's that
baby,
month,
baby,
so
superhero, yeah, dope. Hey, come on, man, get on the train.
Future just released is currently releasing music, and Luda, I believe, is not.
I think it probably averages it out over the last few months, though.
Are the Future
still.
songs, are those like featuring Future or Future?
Anything
It's
related,
probably all
anything
of them.
related to
Future's
Future.
a staple in this generation.
So Future had some
gonna-
help.
That's going to stay there for a good 10 years.
Yeah, it says on here. So his top 5 popular songs on Spotify, only one of them is a feature.
Yo, Future is to trap music what George Strait is to country.
It's quite a
Future
statement.
is
It is. Well,
Future is trap. He's on a Mount Rushmore trap. You got Future. Some would argue T.I., Jeezy, Gucci Mane. Like that is trap music.
Can you-
and trap music has influenced music worldwide so much as though Morgan Wallen has a bunch of trap beats on his new country album.
can you explain trap music to me? The difference between trap music and more conventional hip hop? Because my
Oh yeah.
the only thing I know about trap music is the hi-hat. It's got the real like tick tick tick, tick hi-hat.
Yep. And it has so I was trying to think of the technical term. Like if it's in 4/4,
Mhm.
right? Right? It'll have quarter notes or half notes that'll go like that kind of vibe with
Yeah.
the hi-hats, you're right. That is a staple of trap music. Originally it was songs about selling dope and that became a genre in itself as a subset of hip hop. So that became a genre in itself, and it developed its own sound, which a staple of that is the hi-hats. And so distinguished from hip hop, I would say there's a difference between hip hop and rap. Hip hop was more based on social issues or social awareness, stuff like that. Public Enemy, EPMD, Rakim, stuff like that. Lyricism, standing on a corner, battling another rapper. That's more hip hop. Rap became more prominent in the late 80s, early 90s when they diverged from that to more commercialism and or I would say I don't say the glorification, but more the center stage of street life, and then the glory from that as far as like the monetary value of what it comes from selling dope comes from. So the cars, the women, the whoop whoop. So that kind of lifestyle kind of changed, and that became more where rap went mainstream. And then from that came trap.
Trap,
so it's like
subset
like
of rap, which evolved from hip hop.
Yes,
but hip hop still exists.
Hip hop does exist, and that's why the Kendrick and Drake beef was so fascinating, and it took center stage because Kendrick represents more of the hip hop side of things. Not to say he doesn't just rap, but his approach to music is very methodical. Social issues. I mean, very political, very thought-provoking stuff, which isn't normal in today's rap, which Drake's rap is more about, I would say, more surface material stuff, women, clubbing, partying, which not to say that wasn't an original reason for hip hop, because hip hop started in the party, right? Sitting in the park while it was dark, that kind of stuff. Drake is the more mainstream version of that, but that battle was like good versus evil in the sense of what the social narrative of rap should be for Black folks in America. Socially conscious or party music.
Is Drake still going to be making songs about partying when he's like 55 years old?
I hope not, dog. I mean, he's damn near 40 still doing it. So, I mean, his last album, he had a line in there. He said, "Fuck a rap beef, I'm trying to get the party lit." I'm like, this is why. But I don't know. It works though. Like, people love it, but it's just very, I would say Drake is very socially unaware. And then he gets on stream with Aiden Ross. It's just bad, man. It's bad. Yeah.
All right. Good episode, guys. I learned something today. I learned a few things about Hendrix.
Look at me. Go listen to Jimmy.
Yep.
For those that have, go listen to Jimmy, man. Run it up.
I'll add one more song to the list. Red House.
That just came on in my headphones. I've been listening to him throughout this whole thing.
I'm gonna get way back into Jimmy after just thinking about him for a couple hours. He's so good. God damn.
Easy Rider. There's another one. Easy Rider.
All right. Have a good one, guys. We will see you on Tuesday. There will be a Macrodosing on Tuesday, post Memorial Day. We record voicemails early this week so we could have something to put out. Have a safe, happy, healthy, and just really fucking good time for Memorial Day weekend. Do that. Enjoy yourselves.
Run it.
Love you guys.